Or you're live.
Okay.
One,
You're live.
two, three. Hi, good morning po. Joseph Lagman, aka kayo mang vlog and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, ngayon po, no, pag-umpisa na natin, investment. Next year, bubukas ang economy. This year, sa 2020, 2021, medyo mahina ang ekonomiya, but the second half of the year will be good for us. Pagka bumukas ang ekonomiya, nakahanda na po ba kayo? Kaya po kami nandito to keep you informed and to make you knowledgeable. May nagsabi po sa amin na bogus daw po ito. Hindi po kami nangangalap ng pondo. We're here to keep you informed at matuto kayo kung anong dapat umpisahan. With me, on my left corner po, no, dalawa sila nasa left corner. Si Ma'am Monica Balister at si Sir Vladimir Cabrera. Si Ma'am Monica po will be talking about insurance, kung ano nababagit, nararapat sa inyo to secure your future and your family. At to secure your future din po, at the same time, Karen po, pag-uusapan po natin investment. Si Sir Vladimir Cabrera po,
Hey,
ang
guys.
atin na makakausap. Can you introduce Ma'am Monica, ladies first? Good morning.
Okay. So, good morning everyone. Good morning Sir Jojo and Sir Joseph, kayo mang vlog.
Yes.
And Sir Vlad. And to everyone's watching, kayong mang vlog, good morning po sa inyong lahat. Again, ako po si Monica Pearl Ballester. No, actually, I'm a government employee and also a part-time financial advisor from AXA Philippines. So, for this morning, i-share namin sa inyo yung knowledge about importance of insurance, how it works, no? What insurance product fits for you. So, I hope everyone will listen carefully and makakuha kayo ng idea from our vlog. Good morning!
Okay ba?
Sir Vlad, yes, so you will do so.
Yeah, so good morning guys. I am Vladimir Cabrera. Thank you for having me, Kuya Jojo, aka the kayo mang
Yes. Yes.
So thank you for having me, and also with Monica and Kuya Jojo, we are actually all government employees, but we are actually doing part-time in investing. Monica is a part-time FA consultant for the AXA Group, while ako naman po ay a part-time, long-time stock investor and trader. Okay, so in this podcast natin this morning, I think we have a lot of ground to cover. So Monica is going to discuss, as na-mention niya kanina, on the insurance products, while ako naman po, on my end, I will be discussing actually how to start the stock investing in stock, or what we call the stock investing. And at the same time, I hope that you guys would learn. And we actually have a treat for the kayo mang vlog viewers natin, because we actually prepared some materials for you to see as we go along with the discussion. So hopefully it will be a good and productive day.
Well, ito na po, no? As much as we want to give you more, this would be a series of vlogs or podcast, no? Kasi po, umpisa na namin, bakit po may nag-hello na sa atin, ano? Sandali lang po. May nag-hello na sa atin.
Good morning kayo mang vlog viewers.
Okay, show lang po natin. Si Miss Sir na, kasama natin na office. Opo. Good morning po sa kanila. Hope to see you, no? Hello daw po, ano? Support here. Maraming salamat, ni Sir na TV. Yes, meron din siyang vlog.
Yes.
At yes, wala akong picture dito sa iyo. Yes, good morning sa
Shy
iyo.
daw siya.
Shy. Hello sa iyo. Shout out, May Sir na TV. May Sir na kasama rin po namin sa opisina, no? Siya po yung isa sa mga sumusuporta sa atin. Well, umpisa na po natin ang ating talakayan sa ating pag-uusap ngayon, ano? Umpisa natin kay Mr. Vladimir Cabrera. Ito po, share ko lang ang kanyang presentation po dito po sa stock investment.
Very government.
Very
Presentation.
very government presentation. Sandali lang po. Medyo madali lang po. Paano po ba yung mag-invest talaga? If ever sa inyo, Ma'am Monica at Sir Vlad, ano yung nabigay kaya nito sa inyo? Yung mga investment, paano kayo kumita na?
Alright.
At gumanda yung buhay?
Aba, ganda talaga ng buhay.
Impromptu.
Anyway, thank you for that, Kuya Jojo.
Yes.
And while Kuya Jojo is actually fixing our presentation, or our materials for this morning, actually, yung sa stock, so I was still payat pa that time. Ladies, believe it, payat pa.
Yes.
And quite good looking.
Yes.
But anyway, let's not get off track. Actually, when I did the stock investing, it was actually to enhance yung baon before kasi nung college,
Yes.
wala naman akong income noon. So it's just just to it's an opportunity to enhance or raise capital or money for me. Dati kasi ang goals ko in life is just update, gumala, bumili ng
Very
cellphone, very single. Until now naman. Mga gadgets, ganyan. Pero that actually changed when I realized that there is a huge opportunity in the stock market. So, essentially, what I'm going to discuss this morning with you guys, and hopefully you can learn, is essentially the basics of stock investing. Okay? Kuya Jo, can you turn the next slide, please?
Well, ito po yung i-discuss ni Sir Vlad. Investing in stock market. So slide natin is
Okay. Alright. Sige. So, knowing the basics po, yung alam pong stock market kasi, for the information of everybody, ano ba yung stock market in the first place?
Yeah.
So, the stock market, it's actually a place or an institution kasi it's a company in itself. It's a place or an institution po that allows big companies, as in huge companies like SM, Jollibee, Ayala Group, to sell ownership, small ownership of their companies or their businesses to the general public. So it's again, it's a place where big businesses can open up their company or what we call becoming public. So when we say public, ito yung regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Tapos all the investors, the general public can be a small-time independent investors nila. And it's a place, as I have mentioned, to raise capital. Kasi in the olden days, before the stock market, if I am a big business, let's say Kuya Jojo,
Yes.
and I, and Monica, we are a tripartite company. We want to create a new mall somewhere or magkatayo ng building or new business. It's actually very hard to earn, mag-create ng capital. So what we can do is actually share yung ownership ng aming company and to charge money for it. So yung share na tinatawag or stocks, that's actually your representation of ownership mo in the company. So ginagawa ng mga companies yan just to raise money for diversification, pag-expand ng business and all of that. So essentially that's what the stock market is. Okay, next. So as I have mentioned din kanina, this is the stock market po, yung sabi ni Kuya Jojo, may disclaimer kanina. Hindi po kami scam. We are not selling you anything here.
Yes.
We are just here actually as part of our advocacy.
tama. So, Monica, diba?
Yeah, this is just actually an advocacy of ours. Kasi kami pong tatlo in the office, we are what we call yung financially literate people and medyo financially independent, hopefully. Sa aming tatlo. And very financially
Sige.
aware. Financially aware na lang.
Salamat. Aware. Correction na lang. Ito magdalawa. Financially independent. Ako po, financially literate pala. Two,
Okay.
be financially
Okay,
independent.
Alright, so anyway, going back. So the stock market po kasi, it's actually regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Any company that is part of the stock market is actually heavily regulated. They are required for present their audited financial statement, yung AFS na tinatawag, mga company disclosures nila, their earnings, potential growth, yung prospectus, yung biblia ng business, as we call them. And sinishare din actually dyan yung kanilang capitalization, magkano yung all the general, all the information in that company. So it's highly regulated by the SEC, and these companies, kung malista ka, kung publicly listed ka sa stock exchange, it's actually an indicator that you are a good company, that you have the capacity to play with the big boys, kumbaga yung mga big companies.
So ito po, Sir Vlad, Monica, pagka yung kumpanya is, as you said, registered siya sa SEC,
Yes.
secured ka na. Na sigurado, paano po yun? Paano sa bangko, meron 500,000 na security pagka nagsarado yung bangko. May secured ka na 500,000. Paano po yung laro dun sa Securities and Exchange Commission pagka naka-register sila sa SEC?
For the stock market kasi wala namang ganung guarantee na let's say nag-invest ka sa isang company, isusoli nila yung pera mo kung lumubog sila. That's not what stock market is all about. Stock market po kasi all the company, as I mentioned, all the companies na nakalista doon, they are actually required by the government no, to be transparent. And kung malulugi man sila, they need to disclose that actually and to give time, depende na po yan sa implementing rules ng kanilang bankruptcy, to give time dun sa mga investors na nagpo-pull out. So again, later we are going to discuss naman po on how to select, I think, Monica and Jojo, yung pinaka-important na gist ng ating podcast for this morning. We are actually going to discuss what are the criterias, some of the things to keep in mind in selecting a good company to invest in.
Ito yung criteria, ito yung pamimili.
Yes.
Anong dapat tingnan sa isang kumpanya bago ka mag-invest doon. Yun po yung ipapaliwanag natin, hindi po kami nagre-recommenda ng kung ano man kumpanya. Kung ano po yung kumpanya, based na sa sasabihin ni Sir Vlad na criteria, kayo po yung gagawa ng inyong sariling study. Ganito po gagawin natin, analysis, Marami kasi nagsasabi, marami tayo na-scam ngayon, double your money in 2 months time, triple your money in 3 months time. Well, pagka pumipera kayo, ito lang po ang tatandaan natin. Pumipera kayo, na talagang pinaghirapan nyo, ito sana ipalaguin nyo, pero kayo mismo po ang mamimili ng kumpanya na paglalagakan nyo, at kayo mismo ang mag-i-invest at magpapalago nito. Huwag po natin ilalagay sa kamay ng ibang tao. Sabihin mo, ito pera ko, palaguin mo. Nako, mahirap po yan. Ito po yung, kaya po kami tatlo narito, to keep you informed and to keep you knowledgeable. Sabi nga ni Ernie Baron,
knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Sumalangit. Sige po. Alright.
So let's continue with the stock market, the basics of what it is. So essentially, ang karamihan din ng tanong sa atin, how do you actually earn money ba in the stock market? So let's say, I will invest in a company. How do I actually get my money back? So there are 2 ways lang naman po how your stock will earn money or how you will earn money. It's price appreciation or pagtaas ng presyo ng stock. Let's say nakabili ka ng stock ng Jollibee at magkano ba siya ngayon? 197, I believe, pesos. Then tumaas siya to 200 pesos.
Wow.
So that's already a 3 peso earnings for you per
Yes, per unit.
per unit, per stock. And then yung next naman is dividends. So yung dividends, ito yung na-explain, I don't know kung na-explain ko kasi Kuya Joby.
Paano po ito taon-taon?
Yeah, actually there are in the stock market companies is not actually required to give you dividends. However, if a business actually is booming or kumikita po talaga sila ng pera, what they actually do is to attract more investor, magbibigay sila ng dividend. So yung dividends po, ang computation yan is galing sa kinita ng kampanya for maybe per this year, the previous year, or this quarter, depende po sa type ng company yan. And nagbibigay po sila to entice more investor. Kumbaga yung investor interest, bumalik dun sa kumpanya. So whatever money that they give as dividends, babalik din naman yan sa kanila because it actually builds the image ng kumpanya na it's a good company. It's a dividend-paying company.
Paano yun, sir? Yung sa dividendo, may tinatawag tayong preferred dividends. Yung may common stock dividend. Ano yung difference?
Well, yung sa preferred kasi, there are, I think medyo advanced.
Yes.
Sorry, advanced. So those are actually part of your research.
Yes.
Maybe in our next podcast,
Yes, sorry.
Maybe in the next series, we are going to discuss yung types ng share or types ng stock. And ito yung sinasabi kasi na preferred, common, ano yung difference.
Nadadal na ako, sir.
So let's just keep it basic guys.
Yes.
On the down low muna tayo.
So how to earn yung price appreciation, yung pagtaas ng presyo ng stocks, saka yung dividendo. Yung sa price appreciation, volatility to, sir, daily?
Yeah. Actually, every minute, every second. I think you guys already seen me. Nakita nyo ko na nagtitrade sa office kasi halos magkakatabi lang sa office. They can actually see that in the stock market kasi every minute nag-change yung palitan ng shares. There are some companies that buy shares of other companies. There are small independent investors like me that buy shares or sell my shares kung gusto ko na kumita. So, in the stock market, every minute counts yan. So, makikita mo, nag-green, nagre-red, and yellow, yung sideways or consolidation na tinatawag. So, yeah, that's very common.
Sir,
and that, if I may just add to it, John, yung volatility na yan, yung masyadong taas-baba na yan, that's actually where you make money. Kasi if you're going to buy dun sa baba, dun sa dip na tinatawag, and then antayin mo siyang tumaas, then you earn money for
Sir,
it.
yung nasabi niyo red saka yellow, paano
Yeah.
yung differentiation nun?
Ano lang yan,
Ano siya talaga
it's very basic. So, kumbaga parang traffic light lang rin yan. Pag green, go siya. So,
go buy.
that buy. Hindi, pag green, kumita ka ng pera. That's earnings, that's profit. When it's red, then downturn siya. Or, kumbaga, negative siya. And then
Nakita ko
kung
yung sa
yellow,
stocks ko, sir. Nag-green, tapos bigla
Yeah,
nag-red.
actually, the past-
Pala yun. Ano
Yung
ba ito? Red. Nag-red.
Bloody red.
Bloody red.
Red Friday,
Grabe,
Red
red
Mondays,
Bloody
Yun siya.
red.
And then yung yellow naman is sideways. Kumbaga walang masyadong interest for that stock on this day. So walang nag-trade sa kanya.
So, iyan ko ulitin nga. Pagka nag-red po, ayan, tandaan natin, ano, kung meron na kayong stocks. Tulad ko, nakikita ko, may stocks ako eh. Nagre-red, ba't nag-red? Yung pala yun. Pagka nag-red talo, pagka nag-green, panalo. Pagka sideways yellow, maliit lang. Yan.
Maintain lang siya.
Maintain lang siya.
Kung ano yung presyo niya kanina, yun din yung presyo niya ngayon. And then kung bukas, dilaw pa rin siya, then yun din yung presyo niya.
Sir, yung dividend, can it be declared twice a year or only once a year?
Again, Kuya Joe, that's fairly
Yes,
advanced.
yes.
So, just so you know, meron lang companies po kasi na nagbibigay talaga ng dividends. And yung variations niyan, yung guidelines on how to implement yung pagbibigay ng dividends, yes, it differs every company. I think AXA and MBT, yung kakabit ninyo na ba, Metro Bank,
Bank.
they're actually one of the high dividends paying company. Kasi ang Metro Bank, my God, ang laki ng tinaas ng ibang presyo. Yeah, it's a good company. But later on, I will discuss why it's good and what are the risks for MBT. Okay?
Yes.
So later na po yan. Okay?
Later
Next,
on.
ano tayo next? Okay, so there are actually questions then, and I think si Monica alam na rin ito. No? Why do we need to do the investing ba? Why do we need to set aside small portions of our money? And bakit natin siya kailangan i-invest into companies or into insurance products or mutual funds? Let's say kung may mutual fund agent tayo dito, what's the need for that? But, so essentially kasi, alam niyo naman, ang tao, ang buhay ng tao, we have basic needs, no? And lucky ka kung meron kang trabaho, kung meron kang business, kung nagbo-boom yung business mo. But for others na wala nun, kumbaga nahihirapan kumuha ng trabaho, wala siyang job, he's not coming from wealth, kumbaga hindi mayaman ang family nila. It's actually very hard for you to dig yourself out of that, kumbaga, intergenerational cycle of poverty na natawag. So what you do is actually investing. And pagdating kasi sa investing, another, I think, key aspect dyan is yung inflation na tinatawag. So when you say inflation, yan po sa madaling sabi, pagtaas ng bilihin, produkto at mga serbisyo within sa isang bansa. So ang Philippines po, yung 2018, 2019, and 2020 natin na average inflation rate is roughly 3.4 or sometimes 4% lang. Depende dun sa complete. But essentially, those are the ranges. And then I believe it was 2018 na remember niyo tumaas yung bigas, masyado ng mahal. Yung gas noon, tayo na parang pumalo nung 60 pesos, excuse the term, pero tumaas yung presyo ng bilihin noon. I think nag 5.8% tayo na inflation noon. So imagine niyo kung itong McDonald's coffee is 100 pesos, no?
Plus.
That's 45 pesos today.
That's 45 pesos today. Pero kung 100 pesos siya, diba? Para madali lang. You have magdadagdag ka pa ng additional 5 pesos for the inflation. Kung baga ganun kalaki yung tinaas niya. So, kung in a uncontrolled inflation, kasi may nagtanong din nito before dun sa isang kayo mong vlog ni Kuya Joe, na parang ano ba ang impact ng inflation sa investment, ganyan. Yung 3.4% na yan, guys, yung average inflation na yan. Maswerte kung 2% lang, 3% lang. Paano kung pumalo ng 5% ulit? Paano kung pumalo ng 6% ulit? How many ang interest rate ng bangko? Diba? So, ang interest rate ng bangko is less than 1%, guys. So, it's 0.001 something. And then, ang mga long-term investment like time deposit, usually 4%, 5%. Kung ang rate mo, ang interest na nakukuha mo is 4%, tapos meron kang 3.4% na inflation. The moment na lumabas yung pera mo from that bank, tumaas na yung presyo ng mga bilihin. Wala nang masyadong mabibili yung investment mo because you have that 3.4% na nakakabit dun sa taas ng presyo. So ganun siya. That's the reason why you need to stay invested or to invest in other investment instruments. Kung preferred nyo ang stock market, good. Kung preferred ang insurance products, all the better. So kung yun lang siya, you have to be invested para matalo mo yung inflation. of the
Yes,
company.
if I may add also, no, meron din tayong tinatawag na type of income, source of income,
Yes,
which
yes.
is the money at work.
Yes.
Diba? Man at work is ikaw ay nagtatrabaho, diba? You render your service, para kapalit is you are being paid
Yes,
cash. Diba? Yun yung ginagamit natin. And one of the other types of sources of income is the money at work, which is yun yung tinatawag natin na investing. Diba? You put money, no, sa isang through investment, at yun yung magtatrabaho sa iyo, 'di ba? Para magamit mo in the future, 'di ba? You will let that money to grow para magamit mo siya for your retirement, or if you want to buy something katulad ng bahay, kotse, or magbabakasyon ka with your family, 'di ba? So at the end of the day, 'di ba, if you will go to investing, or you save up money through the your bank, 'di ba? Ang una mo din kailangan isipin is, ano ba yung goal ko? Why do I need to save money?
Yes.
Why do I need to invest?
Yes.
'Di ba? Kasi kapag meron kang goal in mind,
Yes.
meron kang nakaset sa sarili mo na kailangan kong ma-achieve yung goal na ito.
Yeah.
'Di ba? Hindi ka yung kapag ka bumaba sa stock market or bumaba yung investment, maaano ka na, no? Parang pull out na. Oo, yes.
Sell.
Baka malugi ako, di ba? And one thing na kailangan nating matandaan is investment sa stock market is for the long run din, no? For long run din po siya. Hindi siya yung, okay, maglalagay ako ng pera for 5 months, 10 months, or 2 to 5 years, no? Kasi if you really want to your money to grow, kailangan talaga pagdating sa investment, matagalan din po. Lalo na kung sa stock market natin ilalagay. So, kailangan talaga, ma-determine mo yung goal mo.
Yes.
Diba? Kasi kung ang goal mo is for your retirement, well, one of the option talaga is to invest it in the stock market. Kasi kung nasa 30s ka pa lang now and you will retire 30 years after pa, di ba? Talagang malaki pa yung i-grow ng pera ninyo sa stock market. So, yun din po yung una nating kailangang matandaan also bago natin simulan. And also yung risk appetite natin.
Yes.
Yan, part yan. Kasama yan sa, kung magre-research ka doon sa mga companies na pag-i-investan mo, you also need to learn or know your risk appetite. Yes, your risk
Monica,
appetite.
kasi yung risk appetite, medyo may pagka-technical layman's term.
Okay.
Yung paano nila
I think, lang yan gaano ka-okay sa'yo mawala yung pera mo.
Yes.
That's what we call the risk appetite.
Yes,
Okay?
because lahat ng yung mga gagawin natin, no, kapag nag-invest tayo, lahat yan may risk.
Yeah.
Okay? So, pero ikaw ang mamimili or ikaw yung mag-identify kung ang risk na gusto mo ba or kaya mong tanggapin is mababa or mataas. Okay? So, ganun po yun. So, kung ang mga pag-iinvestan mo ay sa equities na malalaking kumpanya, malaki din po yung risk ng malaki yung pag-grow agad ng pera mo, pero mataas din yung chances na mabilis din yung pagbaba. Oo. Kaya nga po, ang pagdating sa stocks, no, or investing, dapat talaga long term siya. Kasi nga hindi pwedeng, kasi nga may ganun siya, volatile na po siya. So may mga other, mga tao naman na mababa yung risk appetite. So pagdating doon, meron pwede kang mag-option sa mga bonds, di ba? So yung mga, yung mga time deposit, ganun, safer siya. So you have really to identify, ano ba yung kaya kong tanggapin na na risk, yes, na loss. Para, aside dun sa gusto mong mag-gain, kailangan mo rin talagang matandaan or malaman kung ano yung kaya mong ma-loss. Okay.
Yes, so, dalawa. May mga ang heavy yan. May mga terminologies tayo nabanggit, risk appetite. Sabi nga ni Sir Vlad at ni Ma'am Monica, gaano kalaki yung kaya mong mawala sa'yo, or pagka nawala sa'yo, hindi ka gaano maapektuhan, hindi ka iyak. And the term, hindi ka iyak. Yung volatility po, it's yung pabago-bago sa Tagalog, volatile siya. Sa stocks kasi, as per Vlad kanina, nag-usap kami, ang pagbabago ng trending ng stocks, kada minuto, kada hour.
Yeah,
Oo.
it actually changes po every instance.
Every instance. So,
Seconds, minutes. It
yes,
really
so-
depends sa market condition.
So, yung dalawa, risk appetite mo at volatile mo at yung pinakamahalagang nasabi ni Monica, you have to have your goal. And yung goal mo, yung tinitingnan mo sa future mo. Retirement ba to? Mamaya, kung di-discuss pa, magdadagdag si Sir Vlad.
Actually, in the next slide.
In the next slide.
Yun na.
Yan na, a segue po pala yan. Well, siguro pa, ipagpapatuloy na natin, yung kay Sir Vlad.
Tsaka, Kuya balikan ko lang, kasi maganda yung sinabi ni Monica kanina.
Yes.
Yung maliban doon sa risk appetite, we're clear on that na. Yung dun lang sa goal, kasi ito yung,
Yes.
I have been investing, for the information lang po ng marami, maraming tao. I've been investing in the stock market for nearly a decade now.
Wow.
Since 2009 pa kasi ako dyan. So, ang parati ko kasing na-encounter na problem with my co-investor or trader, hindi kasi nila alam paano i-set yung exit nila. Kumbaga, ang sa kanila lang kasi,
Ano ko ba kukunin or kailan ko ba
Kailan?
Yan kasi yung dilemma with the kasi kung, lalo na pag, in the stock market kasi it's also ruled by emotions. Malaki po kasi ang factor ng emotion ng tao dyan. So kung makita mo, let's say ako nakita ko na, nag-increase ng 10%, nag-increase ng 20%, in 1 week, almost na double na yung pera ko.
Wow.
Diba? Ang tendency kasi natin dyan is, yung greed yung human
Yeah.
mind. Baka next week,
Mag-double
ulit.
Oo,
Diba?
diba?
So kung hindi ka nag-set ng end goal mo, hindi ka nag-set ng, let's say, ng exit price mo for the stock, or yung exit amount mo, let's say, basta lumagpas ng 30% of my original investment, okay na sa akin yun. Kung hindi ka kasi magsaset ng ganun, guys, kumbaga, wala kakainin ka ng market if you don't know how to exit. No? So it's really important to know your goals.
Yes.
Parang, kumbaga yung sa commercial, para kanino ka bumabangon.
Yes.
Para kanino, para saan ka ba nag-invest, parang gano'n. So is it tama yun? Is it retirement, for education, travel, property ba yun? Bibili ka ng bahay lupa for the legacy of your family, bibili ka ba ng bagong kotse, no? Yung sa health. Later, we will discuss that.
Sir Vlad, interesado lang ako kasi, sandali lang kasi yung sinasabi mo, sir, yung exit, can you expound on that? Ano yung exit? Kailangan ba yung pagka lumaki, hatiin mo na, kunin mo yung kalahati, invest mo pa, or the whole?
That's a good question, and I do get yung bakit siya, marami kasi nagtatanong dyan. Sa akin kasi, I cannot dictate sa inyo kung kailan or at what amount. It really depends on your goals. So kung ang gusto mo ay bahay at lupa, we're talking about millions here, no? Kung yun ang target mo talaga, bahay lupa, be in it for the long term kasi matagal po yan, and you have to do analysis. Then later, ituturo ko rin po yung basics niya. What companies to choose na ano bang gusto mo dyan? Is it the high appreciation ng pera, ay ng pag-increase ng stock price, or gusto mo yung dividends play na tinatawag? So you have to analyze din yung companies na pag-investohan mo. And kung malaki yung goal mo in life, let's say gusto mo maging bilyonaryo, I'm not saying na it's not possible, but it's very difficult for you to do that. No? So I think what's important before you set your exit price, or you just be realistic with your goals muna. Identify your goals, be realistic with your goals, and kung wag mo masyadong isagad. Wag mong all in ka dyan forever. You really have to manage it. Later, i-discuss po natin yung pwede. If you may proceed dun sa next slide actually.
Pero maganda, Sir Vlad, yung sinabi mo na kung sakali, kung malaki yung goal mo, kailangan mahaba-haba talagang long term. Magbabahay, malaki, kailangan investment dyan. Mahabang panahon yung preparation mo.
So additionally, guys, in the stock market po kasi, meron ka tinatawag na different peoples po kasi dyan. You have the investor on the one hand, which is yung, I think, much better for newcomers in the stock market. Ito yung tinuturo ko kay Monica, yung tinuturo ko kay Jojo. Better kung maging long-term active investor ka. Then meron ka rin naman yung opposite nun, which is yung kagaya ko. Hindi yung mataba, traders or what we call traders. So ako kasi I monitor constantly yung aking investments. I am also handling yung portfolio ng aking mother. Ako lang nag-handle nun. So tinitingnan ko yun, yung fluctuation, yung movement ng price. Pag nakita ko na, bakit pababa to? So I do my research, bakit siya bumaba for that day, bakit siya bumaba for that moment. So yun po, ang traders naman, we are maximizing yung profit, yung kikitain namin for for a given period using technical analysis ng mga charts, ng graphs. That's fairly advanced, but for you guys na nagsa-start pa lang in the stock market, better if you would go as an investor. Long term, managing your risk, do the peso cost average, that's the easiest strategy there is. So you go for investing as an investor.
So yun ay ang kailangan daw po, dalawa raw po klase yung invest pagka mag-invest ka. It's either you are an investor, pagka investor ka, long term tayo, no? Yung long term, it can be yung sinabi ni Sir Vlad na maglalagay ka ng isang ng certain amount monthly on a regular basis. Yun yung for long term. Later po, it can be expounded by Sir Vlad. And dalawa, no, yung trader, ito na. Nag-aaral ka na, pinag-aaralan mo na yung volatility, yung pagtaas, kada minuto, kada oras. Bakit mo ba? Sabi ni Sir Vlad.
Talagang ako masasabi ko dyan, Kuya Jojo, wag kayong mag-trade.
Oh, yes.
Lalo na pagbago kayo, kasi believe me, mababaliw lang kayo. I am telling you now, I have been doing the trading and the investing for the longest period of time. Kahit ako I do not claim to be an expert, guys. What I do know is I know how to see the signs, I know how to detect patterns or trends na tinatawag for trading term yan. And I know how to select good companies or at least see their fundamentals and their technicals. But kayo na bago pa lang in the market tapos gusto nyo i-try yung trading ulit, kasi simple lang siya, bibili ka at a low, then magsisell ka ng mataas.
Hindi ganun kasimple.
Hindi kasi siya ganun kasimple, guys. There are a lot of nuances.
Yes.
And kung magkamali ka ng bili dyan, it spells bankruptcy for you, lalo na yung mga tao na yung life savings nila.
Yun ang
Yes.
Wag guys, wag.
Retired ako ngayon, lalagan ko dyan. Please.
Sa kangkungan ka pupunta kung ganun gagawin mo. And then another pala, no, i-share ko lang isang story kasi when I was way back in government din sa Office of Civil Defense before, I have a colleague doon, an office mate, na-introduce din siya sa stock market, nagpaturo siya sa akin. Ang hindi ko naman alam ay nangutang siya sa bangko ng business loan worth 850,000 and then in-invest niya sa stock market.
Wow!
So may utang na siya sa bangko, tapos anong nangyari kasi ang pinag-investohan niya noon, I'm not gonna name the company, but it's a property na company. Biglang nagsara. Na-delist and na-bankrupt yung property company na yun kasi parang nabudol siya. Hindi siya hindi siya advisable, guys, no. Do not do that. Later meron akong tips and tricks and strategies on how to consolidate your funds, no. So later, more on that later, but please know that in the stock market there are investors, which is you should be, and there are traders like me. And do not engage in trading if you do not know what you're doing. As mentioned ko kay Monica, rule number 1 in the stock market, what you do not know, you do not touch.
Yes.
Kung hindi mo yan, wag gagawin yan, wag kang mag-join yan, kahit sabihin ko pa right now, kayo mag-give vlog, bili kayo ng shares ng kampanya ni Jojo. Because sinabi ko, no, that's a big no-no. You do your research, you see kung maganda ba ang kumpanya ni Jojo, is it registered in the SEC in the first place. So yun, you have to do your research, and guys, please be knowledgeable. Mag-research po muna kayo before investing in any company. That's the best advice I can give you.
Well, I can do that. Nakaka-relate ako doon sa sinabi mo, sir, na dapat pag-aralan, ano? Kasi alam niyo po ba, ngayon, ang dami sa Facebook, ang dami nag-advertise.
Yeah, yung mga
Mabilis, get quick, sasabihin, invest ka. Ikaw, mag-trade ka na. Kumita ako lang ganito. Ang laki na kinita ko sa trading. Tapos yung mga tao, nagbibigay ng life investment, life savings sila doon, nawawala. Kailangan po talaga pag-aralan nyo muna bago kayo mag-invest sa isang bagay. Kaya po kami narito, to keep you informed and to keep you knowledgeable with experience of Miss Monica and Sir Black.
Again, I don't claim to
Yes,
be
yes, yes.
an expert on this, but
Yes.
what I can share po actually is yung naging experience ko na in investing and trading. And usually my experience is kung merong company or merong isang individual or group na sinasabi sa'yo, yung pera mo, dodobli
Yes.
in 2 months. I would run 1 kilometer away from that guy. Kasi ibig sabihin yan, it's either a scam or they're just clickbaiting you for some reason. Kung alam nyo yung term na yun. Hindi yan totoo. There is no guarantee in the stock market, in any investing instruments, actually, be it insurance, stock market, mutual funds. Well, ang band at least predictable ng bonds, but still there are also risk for bonds, ano. But there are no guarantees for in investing. That's why it's very important ituturo namin later on the fundamentals and technical analysis. And you can also apply that for other investment instruments then. Okay? Next. Okay. So I think ito na-cover natin siya ngayon.
Yes.
It's what yung retirement. Like for me, I am very much afraid of growing old. So ang tanong kasi dyan sa retirement, I am actually investing because I am afraid na wala mag-aalaga sa akin once I grow old. Let's say infirm or senile na ako, ganyan. There's a situation na parati kong sinasabi sa mga kapwa ko, traders and investor, what is better ba for you? You grow 65 years old and wala kang investment, or you grow to 65 years old and you have 10 million pesos in your pocket? Kasi for sure, di ba, kung meron akong mga anak, pag-aagawan ako ng mga anak ko eh. Kung meron akong mga kaibigan, they will actually help me just to get that cash. So I think it's good, no, to set your goals. And for me, it's retirement. How about you, Monica? What's your investment goal?
Well, ako din naman po, no, because I have one child already.
Yes.
No, so, mahalaga sa akin. Yes.
Ay,
Siyempre, yung
you're watching Mama.
retirement din. Kasi ayoko din naman ma-burden yung anak ko.
Yes.
No?
Unfair sa kanila yun.
Yes. Maliban pa dun, mahalaga din sa akin magkaroon ng health fund.
Yes.
Okay, kasi I have, experience talaga sa family namin nung my mother ay diagnosed ng cancer at naman-diagnosed ng cancer, breast cancer. So, nakikita ko talaga yung laki ng gastos nung time na yun,
Yes.
gaano nahirapan yung tatay ko, yung papa ko, doon sa sitwasyon na yun. And I don't want
It's
that
very
na,
tough situation.
na mangyari doon sa family ko na. Kasi, makikita mo rin naman sa trend ng family nyo, no? Kung meron, lalo na kung mataas yung history nyo for,
Yeah,
kunyari,
nasa line yun.
Oo, nasa line ninyo. Kasi
Nasa
talaga naman kung,
Yes.
nasa salin talaga siya, no? Hindi natin alam, or even kahit akala natin very healthy tayo, pero yung environment natin, iba na. Diba? Yung mga kinakain natin, iba na compared noon. So, hindi talaga natin masasabi yung uncertainties ng buhay kung kailan ka mamamatay or magkakasakit ka ba kahit very healthy ka. Diba? So yun, very important sa akin yung health fund, retirement fund, no, yung educational fund, meron din naman akong kinuha for my child. Pero yun yung very, talagang una kong goal. Bakit ako na-start in investing? Yung investing na ginagawa ko for now talaga is indirect investing. Kasi yung binabanggit ko ni Sir Vlad ngayon ay direct investing ninyo sa stock market. No? So ako naman ay more into indirect investing wherein I put my fund through ang nagmamanage ng fund
Managers.
ay mga
Ayan,
fund
oh.
managers. Yes. So
They
yun
are already knowledgeable, no?
Yes.
A lot of books on investing, yung kay Robert Kiyosaki,
Yes,
yung sa
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Rich Dad Poor Dad, yung mga ganyan types ng book. So, I did read up, research on all of that, and until now, I do not claim to be an expert. What I am just sharing with you guys is my experience on certain companies and certain ways of investing. So, kung hindi mo siya kaya or wala kang interest talaga to know, what Monica is doing is actually a good place for you to go on.
Yes. And what to start with, lalo na kung talagang bago ka pa lang.
Yung zero knowledge.
Yes, zero knowledge. And kunyari, you have a full-time job na hindi mo kayang maisingit sa time mo. You can also start through indirect investing or kapag may time ka na, no? Kasi nga, maganda rin na nagda-diversify ka ng funds mo eh. That's very important. Kaya yun yung sinasabi natin kanina na yung 850,000, wag mo ilalagay
Yes.
sa isang, yes, yung wag mo ilalagay sa isang basket yan,
Yes,
diba?
yes,
Sabi
yes.
nga yung itlog ay wag mo
Yes,
ilagay
yes.
sa isang
Kasi kung sira yung isang
basket. Yes. So maganda talaga na mag-diversify ka ng funds. Kung meron kang business ngayon and gusto mong palaguin yung part o some of your kinikita sa iyong business, no? Pwede mong ilagay yan sa investment, 'di ba? Kasi
And
yun nga.
vice versa.
So talagang maganda
Ma'am Monica,
na
can you elaborate to expand yung diversification?
diversification.
Yes, para for the audience, medyo technical.
Oo.
Paano yun? Pag you don't put your eggs on one investment, tapos you diversify, paano po yun?
Yun, mamimili ka po ng mamimili ka kung ano yung kunyari, yung hilig mo, sa business. Diba, nag-business ka. Tapos, sa total na income mo or meron kang extra money to put into your business, kunyari 30% ay pang business, and you put some 20% of that ay ilalagay mo naman sa investment. Yung iba naman ay gusto mo ipangbili ng insurance product or properties. No, properties, bahay at lupa, or magpapatayo ka ng building, paparentahan mo. Diba? So, yun po yung mga different types ng diversification of your funds wherein, diba, nilalagak mo yung sa iba't ibang, sa iba't ibang
Yun.
klase.
Klase.
Diba?
Hindi lang sa isang investment, nag-invest ka sa stocks. Sa susunod, real estate ka naman.
Yes.
Yun yung diversification na...
Yes.
Actually, if I may add
Yes,
no,
yes.
sa conversation,
Sure.
kasi I also know a lot of experienced brokers and traders na rin na yung diversification na yan, pera mo into one investment or one
Yes.
investment type. So let's say kung ako, purely stocks lang ang ginagawa ko, that's a bad way of managing my funds. Kasi kung bumagsak ang stock market bigla, nagtuloy na naman yung pandemic, knock on wood, wag naman.
Yes, wag
Yes, wag
naman.
naman.
Mag-sipag na tayo.
Losses na naman tayo. Loss na
Oo.
naman.
Rebound? Huwag naman mag-rebound. No?
Hindi, I think yung re-quarantine.
Re-quarantine or-
Kasi bumalik tayo dun sa
Ang hirap.
yung last year namin, nakakainis. Anyway, just don't put all of your investment, don't put all of your money in just one investment type. And then meron ako, i-share ko lang rin
Sige po, sige po.
sa experience ko dyan. I was attending a seminar in Ortigas. Meron isang, I think broker din ata siya ng isang company na sinabi niya, when you diversify ka in terms of iba-ibang kumpanya.
Yun nga.
Actually,
Yun nga.
pero that's
Paano
actually,
yung-
medyo i-qualify lang natin yun.
sige
Kasi
nga,
let's say, yung company mo ay property. So, MEG, yung Mega World na properties group. Then you have DMC, yung gumagawa ng property development. Then you have the
DMCSN po ba yun?
yes, yeah. Tapos, those are all property corporations or property companies. And kung bumagsak ang property sector, let's say
Yes.
magkaroon ng bubble,
Yes.
nag-alisan lahat ng Chinese dito sa Pilipinas, which is a lot of them are,
Yes.
tenants ng mga building na lang dito sa Pasay. It actually can cause a property market crash. So pag nangyari yun, diversified ka nga, iba-iba nga yung kumpanya mo, pero lahat naman yan nasa property. So parang,
Nasa real estate.
nasa real estate. So
Oo.
parang useless din. So when we say diversify, as in diversify. So if you have investment in stocks, for example, meron ka ng Jollibee,
Yes.
that's consumer group, no? So fast FMCG yan, fast moving consumer goods. And then mag-diversify ka, a portion of your investment in stocks is on property, let's say. Double Dragon properties
estate.
ni Injap. For example lang
Wala
And then,
na. Or not recommending.
another part of your money, ilagay mo sa insurance products. Like sa AXA Retire Smart.
Yes.
They have
Yes.
actually a good plan for that. Again, I'm not endorsing it, but you can read up on that and you can compare with the other insurance products. And the rest of your money can go to a time deposit, savings account, or alam mo yun, bonds, mutual funds, if you are that type of person na mahilig sa MF. So you can do that, and that's what diversification is. Okay, spread out nyo po. May criticism din dyan. Paano yan, Sir Vlad, kung sa stock exchange, kung sana yung 850, di ba kung na-double, edi milyonaryo na ako ngayon.
Yes.
Yun kasi yung gusto ng maraming tao. Tanong ko rin dyan, put it the other way around. Paano kung nalugi ka, edi yung buong 850 mo, zero na rin. So saan ka pupulutin, di ba? So better kasi to minimize your risk. And in the stock market pala, guys, before you make money, you lose money first.
Yes.
That I can tell you. Si Christian, yung ating IT,
Oh.
office mate namin siya.
Christian, shout out!
Kaya shout out kay Christian. He's actually new to investing din, and I was the one who coached him on it. Bumili na siya ng Mond Nisin. It's a new company, one of the largest company.
Ano yung product sila, sir?
These are the Lucky Me brand, yung Pancit Canton, Fita, Skyflake. So it's a good cultural company na yan. Kumbaga. But nung bumili si Christian kasi, on the top price siya. Kumbaga, peak price yung nabili niya. At nung kahapon, which is a Red Friday, medyo nag-pull back ang market, nalugi siya ng around 880 pesos.
Wow.
So it's a learning curve, no?
Yes.
Na parang okay na na-identify mo it's a good company, but kailan ka bibili? Are you going to time the market or are you going to invest through peso cost average? So those are fairly advanced na we'll discuss na later.
Pero hindi pa naman po talagang loss yun.
Hindi pa naman loss. It's
Paper
called
loss.
paper loss. So anyway, ikaw, Kuya Joe, what's your goal ba in investing? Since nakapag-share na kami ni Monica.
Sa akin,
Environment,
sa
education,
investment.
health. How about you?
Sa akin, na-stroke si father ko. Namatay siya. Then yung anak ko,
I'm
nga
sorry
siya.
for that.
Mag-isang anak lang ako eh. Hindi nakapag-prepare. Yung namatay yung father ko na hospital, grabe, ang laki ng expenses sa hospital. Pagka darating na yung doktor, sabihin, ang dami agad expenses.
I know.
So hindi nakapag-ready. Ako lang lahat, no? Yung sa funeral, yung service lahat. Ang hirap. So nung nangyari, pagkatapos nun, tumatak na sa isipan ko, muna ako educational fund. Sa anak ko. Muna ako ng insurance para sa akin. At kumuha na ako ng lote, ma'am. Lote sa lot. Ang hirap kasi, ma'am. Kumuha na ako ng lote, tapos funeral service. And last year po, my mom died. And during the pandemic, wala na akong inisip. No?
So you already prepared.
Yes, so prepared na. At meron na akong savings para kasi nakikita ko na eh.
Yeah.
Meron na akong ready finances para sa hospitalization, para meron ng lupa dun sa
Diversified.
meron ng lupa na paglalagakan kung sakali At meron na akong service at naka-arrange na. So noong nakaraang taon ano lang ako, medyo hindi naman sitting pretty man, sir. Ano lang ako,
You're in a better position.
I'm a better position doon sa naunang nangyari sa buhay ko. Maayos yung funeral service, maayos yung lupa, and nakaraos naman after that, meron pa rin savings. Hindi talaga yung full, ang mangyayari doon sa risk appetite nyo, kaya ka mag-i-invest, no? Based on my own experience, kaya ako nagaganito ngayon, is to prepare. Sabi nila, bakit ka mag-prepare for something na malayo pa naman?
Parang let's cross. I really hate this place, by the way.
Yes.
Yung mga tao nagsasabi nito sa akin, watch out.
Yes.
Yung let's cross that bridge when we get there.
Ang hirap!
Excuse the term, I freaking hate that term. Yung mga tao nagsasabi niyan, dalawa lang yan for me. Either tamad ka or wala kang alam. Yun lang yan. Na you do not prepare for your future. Yung let's cross the bridge. Why are you going to pressure or stress yourself about all of these things? Anything is uncertain. Ang sagot ko, that's precisely why. Kaya nga prepare ka na eh. Para whatever uncertainty, let's say yung nangyari dun sa father ni Kuya Jojo, that's an uncertainty na hindi nila alam before. And then naging na siyang reality nung nangyari. So kung i-translate mo siya in your own lives, I ask the audience natin ngayon sa kayo mag-vlog. Are you in it? Are you investing because you want to prepare for that eventual reality or that uncertainty in your life? That's good. Pero yung sa iba kasi dyan, that are, happy-go-lucky.
Yes.
Hindi sila, yung parang positive
Anda.
vibes lang, guys.
Chill.
Or, let's pray and sit on it. Okay, that's good and well. I don't want to criticize anyone for their faith, but please, do not use that let's cross that bridge when we get there when it comes to investing or preparing for the future. Because, believe me, it doesn't work.
So, sinasabi nga, sa life, no word, di ba? Sa life, L-I-F-E, there is an if in the middle.
Yes.
So, di ba?
Expound.
Yes, if in the word life, di ba? Sa buhay natin, there is an if. It's either you die too soon,
Yes.
or you live too, or you live too long.
Oh,
di ba?
yeah.
If you die too early, maraming mga dependents sa'yo, pamilya mo, kung may anak ka, yung mga magulang alam mo, di ba, katulad
Yes,
ng
yes.
nabanggit ni Sir Jojo, malaki yung impact sa kanila kapag ikaw ay nawala. If you die too soon, di ba? At hindi ka nakapag-prepare on that, di ba? Katulad ng
Agree.
mga nasabi, pagka nagkasakit,
Yes.
di ba? Or
Saka
kapag
na nakuha na
namatay
yung
ka. Yes, di ba? And yung if you live too long naman, 'di ba? Yes, mahaba. Dumating tayo sa 60 years old, 70 years
Uy,
old.
marami tayong kakilala na ganyan, guys. Marami sa inyong ganyan.
Pero sa retirement years mo na yun, hindi ka ready, 'di
Wala
ba?
siyang naipon.
Yung
Yes.
on those years, andyan na yung kailangan mo na
Maintenance.
Yes.
Check
Pero
out.
andyan pa rin yung mga bills
Necessity.
natin sa, yung pagkain natin, bills natin sa bahay,
Utilities,
'di ba? Oo. So,
rising costs.
even if you live too long, may mga expenses pa rin. So, yun yung mga certainty sa buhay na alam mong mangyayari, pero kailangan mo or pwede mo nang paghandaan
Yeah.
ngayon pa lang. Diba? Or if you live too long, pero paano kapag nagkasakit ka?
Yes.
Diba?
Pahirap
You have
sa
health
family
fund
mo.
ba? Diba? Baka naman pinalago mo nga yung
Yes,
negosyo
yes.
mo, meron kang income,
Naniglip
diba?
mo naman.
Meron kang milyon-milyon, pero kapag ka
Yes.
nagkasakit ka, lahat yun mawa-wipe out because hindi ka nag-ready for your health insurance. Diba? So yun yung life, yun yung if natin sa buhay. Diba? Na alam nating mangyayari, yung isa hindi natin alam kung kailan mangyayari, yung isa pwedeng mapaghandaan. Pero lahat yun dadating tayo sa punto na yun.
Yes. And
Diba?
ito, no, kaya naman ako, kasi wala pa akong pamilya, wala pa akong kasama. Wala pa akong anak.
Yung single mindset. No?
Single mindset. Pero kumuha na ako ng educational fund para sa magiging anak ko. At sabi sa akin, ba't ka kumuha ng educational fund? Wala ka pa kasawa, magkakaanak ka pa.
Dali lang yan.
Oo.
Dali lang yan.
sabi ako,
Mahirap yung
pero,
investment.
yes. Pero sabi ko nga, maganda na maging optimistic ka, no? Yung educational fund naman, kung wala kang anak, makukuha mo naman yung investment mo na to. Ikaw, pag-aralin mo ulit yung sarili mo, merong educational fund for you. So, yun yung natin, that is the common goals.
The goals.
Goals, no? For retirement, ako po, nasa government agency. Kaming tatlo po, no? Marami sa government agency na mag-retire. Servisyo Sibil. At talagang we really work hard para matulungan po ang ating mamamayan, ano? Yung sa serbisyo publiko. Pero in the long run po, magre-retire kami, the preparedness itself, kailangan po prepared po tayo. Marami po kami nakikilala na nagre-retire, after retirement, few years, wala na yung kanilang retirement, no? And believe you me, yung sa retirement nyo po, pagka magre-retire, a certain portion of their salary lang ito. It can be 50%, it can be 70%. Pero po, no, yung pangangailangan nyo po, baka hindi matustusan yung everyday needs nyo. No? Meron pang pang-blowout sa apo, sa anak. Ganyan, maraming hihingi ng tulong. Maubusan kayo. At ito na po, tutuloy na po natin. Ang ating next slide natin is...
So those are some of the goals po in stock investing. So let's proceed. Okay, kasi nakita ko marami na nagtatanong dun sa ating video, ano? And one of the questions there is, Sir Vlad, paano ba how to approach the stock market? So this is precisely the question that a lot of you have been asking, yung mga kayo manggi vloggers, or sorry, kayo manggi subscribers, no? Kayo manggi vlog subscribers. And what I say to them is actually there are only two. So in the stock market, guys, there is what we call the fundamental analysis, and then another is the technical analysis. So those two are your ways to approach or to analyze yung ating stock market. In insurance products kasi, you have your FAs to do that analysis for you.
So FAs is financial advisors.
Yeah, FAs are financial advisors like Monica. And then in some FAs pa, meron yung fiduciary position which are legally bound by law. So that's another discussion for another day. But essentially, in the stock market kasi you don't have the luxury of having your own fund manager, your own FA. If you are going to do direct investing in the stock market, you really have to be your own manager. And you have to do your own analysis, your own research. And the way to do that is focus on fundamental analysis and technical analysis. Sa madaling sabi, when we say fundamental, later i-discuss ko rin po yan. When we say fundamentals, Kuya Joe, these are the information of the company, no, that you think will propel this company towards greater growth, mas malaking stock price, mas diversified na business, mas malaking share nila in the market.
Wala lang, ito sir yung,
Yeah.
yung basic.
Yeah, the basics. When you say fundamentals, the basics of the company, are they a good company to begin with? What's their plan for expansion? What is their business plan for the long term, medium term, or in the short term? So, on the fundamental analysis, usually po, you can consult the prospectus on this. Prospectus, it's a term na ginagamit in stock investing. Essentially, yan yung biblia ng mga companies no, on how they will use na nakuha nila na pera from the stock market, from the investors. They will use that to diversify or expand their businesses. At lahat yan ay nakalista in their prospectus. Kumbaga yung business plan. And then, on the technical analysis naman, which is kami na to sa mga traders no, na ginagawa, we actually use the charts and graphs. No? Titingnan yung movement ng price. Is it up or down? Is it high or low? Ganyan. And yung trends or yung gaps in the trends, kung 3 weeks na siyang depressed or pababa, what does that tell you? How do you analyze that graph? Or how to analyze that chart? So that technical analysis, medyo technical na yan.
Yes,
because
yes.
technical na siya.
Yes, so,
Pero hindi siya advisable muna for the new mga newcomers in the stock market. The fundamental analysis which focuses on, is the stock cheap or is it expensive? Is it of good value, yung valuations na tinatawag, based on the company prospectus or basics nila. So, essentially, those are the two ways to approach or to analyze the stock market. And don't worry, we will have another
Yes.
video series na
Oh.
in-depth dive for fundamentals and another for technical analysis.
yes. Opo, yung fundamental analysis at technical analysis, no, medyo mabigat ito. And this would need a thorough,
Yeah, separate.
separate
Session.
podcast for you, to keep you informed and to keep you informed, tapos maging knowledgeable kayo rito. Medyo mahirap, pero with Sir Vlad here.
Yeah. Hindi naman siya mahirap,
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
It's medyo a lot to take in
Yes,
lang. Kasi
yes.
you have to process the information, especially sa technical analysis. Yung sa technical kasi, lalo na yung mga hindi ayaw sa math, kumbaga.
Yes.
Madaling ma-intimidate sa math. Kasi you will have to look at the graphs, no, the chart, yung movement niyan, you have the EMAs, the MAs, the moving day, MDAs, moving day averages. So lahat naman yan, it can be learned, but it will take some time lang po. So just be patient and just do your research and believe in your investing strategy. Okay?
So, ganito po, may mga nagtatanong na po dun sa ating YouTube channel. Mamaya po, afterwards,
Yeah, may question and answer tayo.
Yes, mamaya po, pagkatapos po ni Sir Vlad sa investment, Ma'am Monica will enlighten us. Bakit nga ba kailangan ng insurance? Nag-segue lang po tayo kanina doon, yung sa goals, At isa sa goals is investment sa insurance po. Tutuloy muna po natin yung mga
Pwede
topic.
refresh mo nga yung page kasi parang na-stuck out
Okay.
siya sa 3.4%.
Ah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
May ano mo nga?
Okay naman, sir.
Okay, nakita lang.
Yes.
Alright. Okay. Sige, let's proceed.
Well, we will proceed. Continue lang po kami.
Okay.
Ang susunod po natin na slide is on, yan, ito na po.
Parang hindi siya ganun. Okay.
Ayan. 2 seconds.
May delay lang ba? Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, for those na na-delay, don't worry guys, I'm going to be sharing naman
Yes.
sa kayo mang vlog yung ating materials for today. Sorry, meron lang siyang delay sa presentation. But I think we can proceed naman.
Yes,
So,
yes.
ang next na part ng presentation, okay, yan, refresh na. This is just my personal recommendation and this is me coming from a point of experience, not really of expertise because I do not claim to be a good or an expert trader or stock analyst. We have a whole segment ng finance sector to people to do that. But what I can say is that in doing fundamental analysis, ito na kasi siya, yung 6 na things for me that you need to look out for or criteria to watch out for in selecting or choosing a company. Okay? So, let's say Jollibee, medyo. Ang Jollibee company, very, gas-gas na kumbaga. The stock market, si Jollibee, parating favorite, ganyan. It's a good company, kinakain ng Pinoy. When you say Jollibee, kahit nasa abroad ka, automatically associated siya with the Filipino. No? It's a Filipino brand. So it's a company, it's a conglomerate, no? It's a holding firm. And itong Jollibee na to, guys, there are a lot of you who wants to invest in Jollibee. But the question ko ngayon is, how does Jollibee actually make money? Sige na.
Monica, ako.
Oh, sige, Kuya Joe. How does the Jollibee company actually earn their money?
Marami kasi silang franchises.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kasi in the common understanding is kung bumili ka ng french fries, kumita na agad si Jollibee. Hindi po siya 1:1 na gano'n, no? So for the Jollibee Food Corporation, the JFC na brand, yung group na yan, they actually earn money through the franchises,
Yes.
no? And then supplying their franchises, no? And the royalties and all of that. So that's actually how Jollibee earn their money. And they have actually diversified a lot of their companies na. The Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf is sa kanila na.
Coffee
Yung,
Bean?
yeah, Smash Burger, Cafe France,
Mm.
Mang Inasal, that's with them, yung pinayok nila si Injak before. And then you have Greenwich Sandwich, Red Ribbon. You can research all of that, but Jollibee is a good corporation because they have diversified their portfolio. However, you must also ask yourself, ano naman ang risk kay Jollibee? In the pandemic last year, no, before I go to dun sa anim na criteria natin,
Ideas. These
bigyan
are
ko
all
lang kayo ng story
ideas.
ng Jollibee. So Jollibee, although it's a good company, it has good, well, medyo overbought siya ngayon. But ang Jollibee kasi, it suffered a lot during the pandemic. Kasi nga closed, bawal ang dine-in, ganyan.
Yes.
Malaki ang naging loss at I believe lumalaki na ng utang ni Jollibee right now
Wow.
because they need to keep afloat. But in a recovery setup na, later we will discuss
Yes.
if the market's really in the recovery stage na, they are poised to earn money again. And if you want similar analysis on that, on the company na let's say na gusto mong pag-investuhan, you can actually apply how I see Jollibee through these six criteria. No? So the first criteria actually is the income of the company. Very important. Kaya ako tinanong, how do the company na napili mo, no? Hindi na Jollibee, yung
Yes,
company
yes.
na gusto mo, guys,
Yes.
how do they actually make money? And if they are making money, malaki ba yung kinikita nila? Kung ang kanilang income is essentially parang mediocre, no? Hindi masyadong, hindi nag-up, hindi tumataas. And that tells you something about the company. You have to do your research, bakit kung ganyang kalaki yung company, bakit maliit lang yung income niya, bakit lugi siya, or kung marami siyang utang. So,
Okay.
that's the first criteria I believe that you when you are doing your fundamental analysis, you're looking at a company you want to invest in, you have to know magkano ba yung kinikita nila. Paano siya malalaman, Vlad? In the Philippine Stock Exchange na website po, and your broker, kung meron kang online broker like COL, Finstocks, ganyan, all of these companies, as I have mentioned in the stock market, they are required to disclose yung kanilang earnings o kanilang income statement. And yung kanilang, not sure lang yung audited financial statements nila, but yung FS nila, essentially the balance sheet nila. So you can search for that, and available naman po siya through the PSE, the Philippine Stock Exchange website. Okay? Next. Okay, so next naman, after ng income ng company, you can also look at, is that company part of a growing sector or is it part of an high demand sector? Now, another experiential sharing ko lang sa inyo guys, the telecommunications group in the Philippines, there are only two, Globe and PLDT. They actually had a bullish na during the pandemic na kalagitnaan because
Sila
the
lang,
demand, because the demand for data, yung sa mobile, yung sa tawag,
It's
call
a
and text,
call and text.
hindi na yan masyado. It's actually a plummeting market na. Pero yung
Data,
internet, the internet data, it was, it's a good year for them, I believe,
Yes, yes.
sa pandemic. Kasi nga, lahat ng tao naka-work from home, no? Karamihan tayo sa government,
Yes.
naka-work from home tayo. The students, they have class from home, the teachers, the school, all of them actually needed internet data. And yung internet data na yan, as provided by Globe and Smart, so lumaki yung demand for that. So that's one example of a high demand sector, no, yung telecommunications. Another, because pandemic related tayo,
Yes.
pharmaceuticals is another company that has a good potential because especially kung ang pharmaceutical ay involved with the vaccine creation, involved with the vaccine delivery or localizing the vaccine. So it's also a good company to look at. So you can search sa Philippine Stock Index sino yung mga companies na pharmaceutical dyan or medical, at least medical in nature, because yung in demand ka sa hospitals right now, it's pataas pa rin. Pataas pa rin. Another is yung mga nabugbog because of the pandemic, the recovery phase na tinatawag. Kasi as I've mentioned kay Kuya Jojo, there is that I actually attended a seminar last night, and it was a huddle expert huddle. This is the courtesy of COL Financial Premium. Juan Baredo, he is the chief technical analyst ng COL. It's actually saying that the chart no ng mga battered companies, yung mga talagang nabugbog ng pandemic, they are actually the ones who are poised to recover fast. Kasi nga, ang Jollibee, although medyo marami na sila utang, they are actually gearing up, binubuksan na lang kanilang vault.
Yeah.
Tapos yung lahat ng pera dyan, we are going
Yes,
to, pag nag-start ang opening ng market, mag-easing ng
Yes,
restriction, tumaas pa yung vaccination rate natin, at mag-resume kumbaga yung regular operations nila. Like, ang laki ng shotgun. Who knows, baka bumalik pa to 300 peso level. Huge opportunity for them. And pinupush nila na mag-open up na totally yung country. Later, I will discuss more on that.
Yes,
But first, let's discuss itong 6 criteria. Yung next naman, on the far right, upper right, is the strong balance sheet. Ito na yung na-mention ko with you guys na dapat less ang utang, more ang inflow, yung pagpasok ng pera compared sa lumalabas. Okay? So, very, very simple lang yan. You can see all the balance sheet, yung AFS, yung disclosures nila at the Philippine stock market website. Okay? Next criteria is superiority ng products or yung core competency ng products nila. So, again, balikan ko lang yung sa telecommunications. Kung familiar kayo sa Converge,
Yung Converge, lumakas ngayon.
yeah, these are the new player, the new kids on the block. Then you have Dito, Philippines of Identities Way. So yung sa Dito naman, they claim, I believe, Thursday, they have reached 1 million subscribers na. Nandito. Yeah, but
Pero
yeah, marami siya, Kuya Joe, but titingnan mo, is Dito, how much of the market share ang kinakain dito? Yung 1 million ni Dito, itabi mo siya sa PLDT, itabi mo siya sa Globe. So, kumbaga, the two giants, yung Globe and Smart natin, they still have the superior technology, I believe, the products and services.
Sa akin, reach.
Yeah. Yung market share nga na tinatawag in general. So, these new players, although malaki yung potential nila, Converge, Dito, Philippines, but it will take a lot of time kasi yung telecommunications, investment din po yan sa mga satellite, repeater dishes, ganyan. So, medyo matagal pa yan. And yung 1 million na kiniklaim ng Dito, that's a good start. But kung itatabi mo kasi siya dun sa number of customers ni Globe, number of customers ni Smart, a lot of the Filipino people are still using Smart and Globe rather than Dito or Converge in their internet or data. So you have to factor that in. So another thing dyan is yung sa Jollibee again. Jollibee kaya siya lumakas ng ganyan, lumaki in competition with McDonald's, which is another international brand, is because nakuha ni Jollibee yung panlasang Pilipino. Yung langhap sarap na. Naamoy pa lang ulam na. So yun siya guys, yun yung sinasabi natin na core competency ng Jollibee. Anyone in the world, pag sinabing, hey, Monica, let's eat at Jollibee. Oh, that's the Filipino store, right? So it's automatically branded Pinoy, no? Yung mukha ni Jollibee, very enticing siya. So their branding, their marketing for the product, it's actually superior than say the others, no. Yung McDonald's, yes, internationally recognized brand yan. Pero kung i-compare mo, for example, Jojo's Bulaluhan, Vlad's Paris House, and Monica's Burgers versus Jollibee. Diba? We are also in the stock market, kaming tatlo. But when it comes to superiority ng product, Jollibee is still the king of the hill. Kung i-compare mo to other brands. So, when you are trying to look for a company, find companies that have superior product over the competition. Kung siya lang mag-isa in that market, then good, that's a niche market for you. Monopoly ka, like what Globe and Smart has been doing for a long time.
Wala, maganda yun. Sir, ganito lang pinag-uusapan natin. All these are fundamentals.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is part of a fundamental analysis actually, yung mga criteria na na-mention ko. So if I may just proceed with the six, medyo marami siya. Next is yung management. Yung management kasi, do not discredit the ability of one person to lead a business. So, i-share ko lang yung story ng Mary Mart. So this is in job siya. Mary Mart, you can search it right now habang naka-online kayo. Mary Mart is para siyang Ayala. Family Mart, parang 7-Eleven, ganyan. Sa convenience type store. And si Injap ito, yung Double Dragon Group. No? So, Mary Mart, nung nag-start siya ng IPO niya last year, during the pandemic, kahit pandemic na siya guys, ang laki ng demand for that brand. Kasi nakita ng mga tao, si Injap, Sia, Uh, he is a marketing genius, and he is the head ng Double Dragon Companies, yung tinatawag na in-job magic na sobrang laki ng tinaas from 4 pesos to 10 pesos. So a lot of people na naka-experience ng rapid growth ng Double Dragon Group wants to replicate that magic at bumili sila ng Merry Mart. Now, during the trading, the first week na na-trade yung Merry Mart na stock, wala kang mabibili. Wala kang mabibili. Actually, green lang siya, naka-steady lang siya as green. Kasi nga, walang tao or corporation, yung share owners or stockholders na gusto magbenta. Because they know na tataas pa tong stock na. And they want to maximize their profit. So that's the power of, one individual leading a company.
So that, sir, is trust and confidence sa taong yun. No?
Yeah, the experience, the business experience of that individual din. And siguro onting hype. Medyo na-hype yung mga tao.
Kasi sir, sunod-sunod din. Siya nag-umpisa ng inasal.
Yeah.
Nabili ng Jollibee. Tapos nag-Double Dragon. And now,
Actually, yung Double Dragon, just a bit of info.
Yes.
Kaya siya Double Dragon kasi it's a partnership between In-Job tsaka kay
Okay.
yung owner ng Jollibee right now. Kasi nga, Double Dragon, kasi they are the two dragons of business. Maraming pera, huge
Yes.
experience na yun.
sa enormous talaga yun.
Yeah. Comes to watch. So yun siya, when you are trying to invest in a company, also know sino yung nagpapatakbo ng kumpanya, sino ba mga board members niya. San Miguel is another, si Ramon
Yes.
Ang, no, yung SMC. So, because of him, I think na-diversify lalo yung portfolio ng San Miguel group, no? MBT, yung president ng Metro Bank before, pero namatay kasi siya, I believe, 2019, ano? So malaki rin yung drain up ng stock price ng MBT noon. Kasi nga natakot sila, wala na yung nag-lead ng company for the longest of time.
Nag-aalisan na rin yung...
Hindi naman nag-alisa. Parang medyo nagkaroon na ng worries on the market or yung papalit din sa tao. So, do not discredit yung individual managing the business. And then last, yung newsworthy. So, when you say newsworthy, nagdi-disclose sila, very transparent yung company, and a lot of good things are being mentioned to them. And of course, still do your research.
Okay. Well, I think maganda yung nasabi ni Sir Vlad, before kayo mag-invest, these are the fundamentals or the basics, no? Income, company part, of high demand and sector, tapos strong balance sheet, yung the end, ano yung tawag na? Bottom line.
Bottom line, yeah.
Bottom line. So yung income, titingnan nyo, no? Pero, Sir Vlad, pwede ba kayo magbigay isang araw, financial statement analysis tayo?
Kaya naman.
Okay. Kasi malaking bagay pa rin. May bottom line ka nga, malaking profit mo. Laki-laki naman ng utang. Tapos ang laki ng asset, ang laki ng utang. Tapos malaki asset, lahat pala yan is utang. So mahirap din.
Actually, in the analysis ng balance sheet nila, although fairly technical na kasi yan,
Yes.
because I wouldn't advise na discuss natin siya right now. But you should know that even there are some instances na kahit baon sa utang yung company, there's still a good company to invest in. Because who knows, kasi baka kaya baon sila sa utang because they borrowed money from the banks, no? And binili nila yung competition nila. For example, kaya sila ubos ng pera right now at baon sila sa utang. Pero they've eliminated their competition, for example. So sila na lang ang only players on the block for let's say telecommunications, ganyan. So you should still do the analysis, no, when do your research in the AFS sa financial statement kasi nga it tells a story. Numbers do not lie, yun yung sinasabi nga nila. And when you see the numbers, mas less open to interpretation po kasi ang audited financial statements rather than just doing news report, ganyan, lugi, ganyan. Let's say, dig deeper.
Yes. Sige po, tuloy na po natin.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yung next naman, so I think, before I give you the how na of starting your stock market investing, additional things to keep in mind lang. Yung isa dito na mention na ni Monica, plan with the goal in mind.
Yes.
Okay? So kung magpa-plan ka in investing, you should have your end goal in mind. Yung ano ba yan? Is it retirement? Is it buying a new house? Is it buying a new car? Is it to travel to Europe like what we are planning sa family?
Wow.
So it's
Sana
really
all.
Pero, isa ko lang, no? Si Miss Monica po talaga, nung hindi pandemic, halos taon-taon, monthly, nakikita ko.
travel.
She's traveling.
Kasi
Yeah.
po kasi ano naman
Oo.
yun, di ba? Parang, syempre,
Part
yung
na siya ng
ano,
investment.
ano na yun, di ba? Parang, you work hard, you play hard.
Mm,
Syempre,
wow.
importante naman po
You
talaga
play
yun.
hard. You play
Yes,
hard.
di ba? If you work hard, you play hard.
Oh.
Importante din po talaga na, ito, di ba? Very,
Yes,
ano tayo,
yes.
very gusto natin nag-i-invest, gusto natin
Yes,
nag-put into something para sa future natin,
Yes,
di ba?
yes.
Pero wag din nating kalimutan,
Yung sarili.
syempre, yung sarili natin daw.
Burn
It's
out ang
very
mangyayari.
important na
Mental
wag
health,
kang
guys.
burnout.
Mental
Yes,
health.
very important ang mental health. So, I always keep in mind talaga na dapat at least once a year makapagbakasyon ako. It's
Wow.
either within the Philippines or outside.
Wow,
Diba?
sana all. Wow, sana all.
Siyempre, hindi naman,
Vernon?
ilang
Sam.
bansa lang naman ang napuntahan namin.
Abroad daw,
Pero,
abroad.
Ano naman, sobrang blessing lang din ang nagagawa natin yun.
Her husband pala ay nandito.
Yes, very blessing lang yun na nagagawa natin. So kung kaya nyo rin itong gawin yun, that's
Why not?
very good. Di ba? Why not?
That's a good
Oo.
goal.
Yeah.
That's a nice
Yes.
goal pa rin. And you cannot discredit. Yun ang
Maganda
bakit.
yung
Yes, yes,
talagang
yes.
balance, di ba? Work-life
Ay, wow.
balance.
Saka maganda po
Agree,
na
agree.
naumpisahan na sabi nila yung mental health. During the pandemic po talaga, grabe po, ang daming na mental stress. And one of things na para makawala, no? So, mental stress.
talaga.
Is a-
Shout out to
shout-
selfie.
Yes.
Alam niyo na yan, you know who
Alam
you
niyo,
are.
o mental stress po talaga, one way siguro sa investment, pagka nag-boom na economy, magbalik ang ekonomiya,
Yeah.
Europe, and travel abroad.
Ano siya, sa Antarctica.
Alam niyo na.
Yeah. Anyway, those are goals. Ano? So again, balikan ko lang Kuya Joe. So you plan with your end goal in mind. So yun lang naman yun. Just know your goal, trust in it, and do your research and your strategy. Next is determine your exit price. Na-mention na rin natin.
Yes, yes.
Yung exit strategy mo or yung exit price mo for your stock. Kasi hindi ka dapat, kumbaga, ang stock market kasi hindi naman forever din yan. You have to determine that you have to take profit yung TP na tinatawag. Yung nakikita yung pinag-post ko. You have to take profit then at some period, no? Kasi kung ibabaon mo lang rin yan ng ibabaon, let's say, long term nga siya, 15 years.
Yeah.
And then pagdating mo ng 15 years, oy, kumita na ako ng 10 million. Wait ako ng another 15 years para mag-10 million.
Ganun ba yun?
Not necessarily. There is still that risk. So, you have to take profit then, sorry. And the moment you mag-take ka kasi ng profit, you realize that gain. Yung 10 million mo kasi na nakapapel, na nasa broker mo pa or nasa stock account mo pa lang, that's not a reality pa until you sell it and until it gets transferred to your bank account. Okay, so you have to know your exit price for your stock. You have to know your exit strategy din. Kung long term ka, okay, fine. No problem dyan. For how long? 5 years? 6 years? 7 years? 8 years? And, or is it the price? Pag itong stock na to umabot na ng certain price, ipo-pull out ko na siya. Let's say yung kami, sa family namin, we have an investment in Ayala Energy, yung ASEN na tinatawag. Ang strategy ko doon is when it reach a certain price point, sisell ko na. Kasi that means na-double ko na or na-triple ko na yung kita from my original capital. So, ganun lang siya. No? Set your price. And of course, i-reinvest mo rin siya.
Yes.
Reinvest mo. But this time around, may control ka na kasi you can either reinvest the entire amount or just a portion of it. And enjoy, sabi nga ni Monica, work-life balance. Enjoy the
Yes.
It's your
Work-life
money.
balance. Oh,
Okay?
bago yun. Work-life balance.
Oo,
Alright.
importante.
Okay.
Very important. So, third
Very-
naman is yung be ready for, to lose your money. Kasi nga in the stock market po, as I have mentioned, you lose money first before you earn money, no? So it's really true na in the stock market kasi most of the time it's down. Yung tinatawag na bearish or correction or slight downturn lang na tinatawag. Kasi nga kung imagine niyo kung ang stock market parating high, edi inflated na yun, hindi ka na makakabili, di ba? Parang hindi na bumababa yung price, tumataas na lang. Edi kung ganun lang in the future, all stock price will be 1 million each na per number of shares. No? So, hindi rin siya feasible and hindi siya realistic. So, the stock market, angat baba po yan. And because of that volatility, that's where you earn your money din sa average ng dalawang yan, sa up and down. So, just be ready to lose your money. And again, you have to remember, in order to become winner, there has to be losers. So, that's one of the realities ng stock market. Meron ka nga doon nakikita sa Philippine Stock Exchange yung top losers of the day, top gainers of the day. Yeah, sinasabi nila kasi nga, pwedeng nag-lose yung isang company because nag-pull out na yung investor. And then yung investor na yun, nilagay into another company. Kaya naging winner yung company na yun. So that's how stock market works, no? So it's a trade-off. Kung mawala sa isang company, then we reinvest to another. So
Pero yung analysis yun, na parang may bandwagon. Oops, bigat sa mga to,
Yeah.
saan to pupunta?
Yeah, actually,
Hindi ka ba sumabay doon?
Yeah. Actually,
Oo, diba?
kaya very important yung mental health natin.
Yes, so,
I think one of the advice na pwede mong ibigay dyan is do not be ruled by your emotions in
Yes.
buying stock. Alam ko ng nanay ko kasi nakikita niya gano'n ako frustrate sometimes pag bumibili ng shares. But I think do not be ruled with your emotions, and kung bibili ka, huwag kang bumili because excited ka
Yes.
or magsisell ka because still do your research and stick to your strategy and your goal. Kung hindi mo pa na-reach yung goal mo, then hindi ka muna mag-pull out because it's not your goal to pull out yet. So, simple as that. Okay? So, don't be ruled by emotions kasi ang stock market, yung herd mentality,
yes, yes.
it's a perennial problem or it's part of the market.
Parang, doon tayo magtatakbo sa kabila. Doon.
Yung mga, I think ang tawag dyan is yung hype. Na-hype masyado yung tao, na-overhype sila.
Pero may nag-hype din na marketing
there are actually companies.
Yeah.
Like yung in Facebook, Twitter,
Yeah,
and Instagram, maraming companies na nagpo-post na like yung sa Mondays
Sure,
before parang dumami yung commercials ng Lucky Me, for
Yes,
example,
yes.
ganyan. Sa mga tao, mga investor and trader, lalong na-hype. Si Betty Ang of Mondays. Sige, bili tayo ng shares niya. So, without even actually consulting na, is it a good company ba? How do they earn money? Sino nagpapatakbo sa kanila? What's their business organizational structure? So, yun, no? Those are the things na nakakalimutan natin kung if we are ruled by emotions in investing.
Okay? Convenience.
Yeah,
Sir
I
Vlad?
think this is the last slide.
Okay. Oh, yes.
Yes. So in this last slide actually, ito lang naman yung basic step kasi ito yung I think the core ng ating usapan right now. So in investing, first and foremost, select your broker muna. When you say broker, ito yung mga outlets or mga entities na nagbibigay ng access to the stock market. So ang most common dyan is yung COL Financial, no? So I am a COL kid kasi market and research data na for beginners, for amateurs, no? They have plenty of workshops and seminars sa kagaya
Yes,
natin. So they are a good choice, no? But kung hindi mo trip yung COL, there are also others. So we have the Phil Stocks. You can also join their group. Or if you're in the banking or you're big in banking, ang BPI, BDO, Metro Bank, they have the BPI trade, BDO trade. Meron na rin silang ganyan. Yung, they provide brokerage for stock investing.
Pero Sir Vlad, ano lang ako, yung field stock din yung malaki. Ito ba yung sa Makati Stock Trading or?
Well, hindi. That's the Philippine Stock Exchange. When we say Philippine Stock Exchange kasi, that's the huge building in Ayala, the trading floor there, no? In Ayala Triangle. And they have the back office here in Tectay Tower in Ortigas. So, nandun yung COL Financial, nandun din yung office ng PhilStock. COL Financial is an online brokerage for stock. Same with PhilStocks. So, those are just names of company. Then you have BPI, BDO Trade, ito yung mga sa mga banks, no? MBT, the Metro Bank, they also have their own version of that. So, just select your broker, do your research, magkano yung charge nila. Kasi meron pa rin yung cost of investment na tinatawag. So yun siya. Be aware of that. And then next up is, I think, ano yung sa second video? Okay, consolidating your funds. So in consolidating your funds, what you're actually doing is setting aside amounts that okay sa'yo, na play money na tinatawag, okay sa'yo na mawala yan or hindi mo kakailanganin for your basic needs and wants. No? So, yung setting aside of your money, that's your investment fund. And better, and suggestion ko to everyone, huwag kayong mag-invest in the stock market or in any investment instrument kung meron ka pang utang. Okay? Your first investment in life, kung baon ka sa utang, is to remove your debt. Remove your debt. Removing your debt, pag alis ng utang mo, that's the first step in investing kung baon na baon ka sa utang. I am not advising na kung meron kang 100,000 debt, tapos maliit lang ang income mo, basic salary ka lang, 1 million yung debt mo, or baon ka sa utang, I do not advise na mag-invest ka or engage in the stock market kasi there is a huge risk, no, na pwedeng magkamali ka ng trade, magkamali ka ng invest, mawala pa yung pera mo, and doble lubog ka na. Nawala ka na nga yung pera mo sa stock exchange, baon ka pa sa utang. So your first order of business, guys, remove your debt muna. Alisin nyo all forms of utang ninyo. Kung meron kang debt, let's say credit card debt, yung utang mo, be sure na manageable siya. Yun lang naman yun, na kaya mong bayaran yan in 2 months time, in 3 months time, at hindi yan lulubog, hindi pa yan lalaki. No? So, mitigate your risk and consolidate your funds and remove your debt. Sa third naman is you select your company. So, ito na yung sinasabi natin, pinag-uusapan natin for the longest of time. Yeah. apply the fundamentals and technical analysis. Yung criteria na na-mention ko, yung anim na na-mention ko kanina, you can use that as your guide. I'm not saying that yun lang ang sundin ninyo because there are other metrics or other criteria, no? But yung anim na yan, that's what I've been using for the longest of time. And so far, I have earned money naman using that form of analysis. And kahapon during the experts huddle ng COL, na-validate naman that these are still the key areas na tinitingnan ng mga big investors. So for us na mga small-time investors, maybe this is also the same areas na dapat din natin tingnan. And then lastly, know your strategy.
Yes.
So pag pumasok kayo in the stock market, guys, you can also research. I think we can do one session din nito kasi medyo fairly technical na itong strategies. I will be teaching na how to interpret graphs and chart, ano ibig sabihin ng pag-inverted ball cap, mga ganyan. So that's a technical jargon na. Pero what you should know is if you invest in the stock market, know your strategy. So are you in there as an investor or as a trader? Kung investor ka, what sort of investor ka? Are you a peso cost average na kung saan fixed amount, let's say 5,000 pesos for the next 24 months? Every month, maghulog ako ng 5,000, bibilin ko the same stock, bibilin ko yan. Kahit tumaas or bumaba yung presyo ng stock, wala akong pake, bibilin ko yan, 5,000 every month, and at the end of the 2-year period na sinet ko for myself, saka ko siya isa-sell out. So yun yung peso cost average. So that's another strategy that we can look at or we can discuss some more in another video. And then meron din naman yung warehousing, yung ginagawa ko pagbubodega na sa umpisa pa lang
Isang bulto.
Yeah, bibili na ako ng isang bulto ganyan. And then ibabaon ko yan for 2 years, for 1 year, ganyan. And then I will sell afterwards. So there are plenty of strategies po in coming in coming to the stock exchange. Just be sure na kaya nyo gawin yung strategy na yun. No? My advice for newbie investors, for new investors sa inyo, do the peso cost averaging kasi yun yung mas simpler siya, hindi man masyadong easy.
Yung dalawa, yung warehouse sa yung day trading, wag
muna kasi medyo fairly advanced na stuff na yan. So better if you just do peso cost averaging, no? If you're planning to do investing in the stock market. Okay? So I think that's the last of our slides.
Well, thank you very much, Sir Vlad. Ano, clap natin, no?
Thank you.
Cheer natin. Kasi na kayo, nakalimutan ko, may clap pa to eh. Di ba? Yes, so, well, now, ang susunod natin, ano, very, punong-puno yung naibigay ni Sir Vlad, ano, talagang...
We'll share the materials.
Yes, so,
don't worry.
talagang punong-puno siya. Kung may mga katanungan kayo, this will be replayed. Ipopost natin sa ating YouTube, ano, itong live na to.
May question and answer pa
yes, so, mamaya po, sasagutin natin yung mga tanong ninyo. Now, I'd like to welcome, ano, Miss Monica Balister. Siya po yung magbibigay sa atin ng kaalaman. Bakit pa dapat at kailangan na kayo ay magkaroon ng insurance. So, yes, so ano na wala yan?
It's a different form of investment.
Yes, okay.
So, thank you, Sir Jojo. Well, very, talagang ang daming sinabi at na-share ni Sir Vlad sa atin. And as mentioned, di ba, that is one investment tool na pwede nating gawin. But in terms of insurance, diba? Iba rin ang ginagawa ng insurance sa buhay natin. Iba yung purpose ng pagkakaroon or pag-i-invest mo sa stock market or yung pag-start mo even investing kahit sa direct man yan or indirect.
Yes.
Diba? So iba yung goal mo doon and also iba rin yung goal mo bakit ka kukuha ng insurance. Diba? So what is the main purpose of insurance pa? Diba? Para sa kaalaman ng lahat ng nanonood ng kayo mga game live. So basically, ang pagkakaroon ng insurance is you prepare yourself and your family in the event na mawala ka, no? Dahil alam natin naman lahat yan, mangyayari yan, diba? Hindi natin, kasi dito sa atin, diba, sa Filipino culture, talagang pag pinag-usapan ng insurance, naku, ayoko niyan. Naku, matagal na ako mamamatay.
Meron stigma.
Oo, may ganong stigma tayo. Pero alam natin na lahat tayo, mangyayari yun, dadating yun, pero hindi natin alam kung kailan.
Yes.
Diba? So, ang pinakamahalaga doon is makapag-prepare tayo. Because, again, lalo na kung ikaw ang breadwinner ng pamilya, sa'yo nakadepende ang pamilya mo, ang anak mo, diba? Even your parents, parents, mga
Yes.
kapatid mo,
Yes.
nagpapaaral. Hindi
Yung
lang
extended
to,
family pa.
yes,
Oh, yes,
hindi lang ito
Filipino eh.
applicable
Culture.
sa mga parents, di ba? Applicable din ito sa mga breadwinner na mga panganay or mga anak na nagpapaaral ng mga kapatid nila.
Yes.
Diba? So ito, ang pagkakaroon ng insurance is you prepare yourself in the event na mawala ka nga, diba? Merong income protection ng
Yes,
iyong pamilya. Because yung, kunyari, diba, every month, isipin natin na nagpo-provide ka ng 10,000, 15,000 sa bills, sa pagkain, diba? Kapag nawala ka, ang
We'll
laki ng
provide that.
impact na yun.
Yes.
Who will provide that to your family, yung 10,000 to 15,000. Diba? So, again, yung sinabi ko na pagkakaroon ng goal,
Yes,
diba?
yes.
Kasi lahat naman ng goal natin, ginagawa natin, hindi lang para sa sarili natin, kundi para sa pamilya natin.
Para sa pamilya niyo po.
Yeah. So, that is the very importance of having an insurance. And ang pagkakaroon ng insurance is it varies. Yung premium, tinatawag, yung premium payment, yung ano ba yung kailangan mong ilaan para sa insurance mo. It varies, depende sa edad mo,
Yes.
no, sa iyong sex, babae ka man o lalaki, sa
health
health, lalo na sa
condition.
health
Sa health,
condition
yes.
mo, because the more na mas older na tayo, 'di ba? Kunyari kumuha ka 40 years old, tapos medyo may nararamdaman ka na, 'di ba? Mas mataas na yung premium payments na kailangan mong bayaran because yun nga, may nararamdaman ka na.
Expected kasi na mas malaki yung
Yes, and
expenses.
possible din actually na hindi na applicable sa yung pagkakaroon ng insurance.
Yes.
Pwede yun kasi nagkasakit ka na, 'di ba? Na-diagnose ka
Terminal
for
illness.
diabetes.
Yes.
Even yung diabetes, may type tayo ng diabetes na hindi na
Hindi na
insurable.
curable.
Yes, hindi na insurable.
Insurable.
Kasi
Hindi
di ba,
curable.
ang mga insurance company din, they also compute, di ba? Yung
Life expectancy.
life expectancy, yung mortality, morbidity natin, doon yun binabase para malaman kung ano yung premium payment natin. So, ang very mahalaga dito na isa sa ibibigay ko sa inyo, lalo na kung bata pa kayo, kagraduate nyo lang,
Yes. At mas
no?
maganda yan.
Oo, or ikaw as a parent, gusto mong bigyan ng insurance ang anak mo na at the very
Young
early
age pa lang,
young
yes.
age,
May retirement plan
talagang,
na si junior mo.
talagang
Yeah.
magandang investment na rin yun. Diba? And also, yung life, yung insurance, ano yan pwede kumuha ka life insurance or health insurance.
Yes. Yes.
Dalawa
Diba?
kasi.
Magkaibang bagay yun because life insurance is magagamit mo on the time or ng pamilya mo, makukuha ng pamilya mo on the time of your death.
Yes.
Diba? Because that is the income protection for them. But health insurance works different. On the time na magkasakit ka, okay, if you have minor condition or major condition, o kunyari you are covered for 1 million and you are diagnosed for a major critical
Yes.
illness, you will be, kung kumbaga, kunyari, yan, nag-invest ka sa stocks, marami kang investment, pero kapag nagkasakit ka, if you have enough health insurance or health fund, that will cover your pagpapagamot. Hindi mo rin, kumbaga, hindi mo rin magagalaw yung wealth mo.
Masok lang ako ng...
Oo, sige po.
Yung nasabi ni Ma'am Monica, naisip ko lang ngayon lang, ang tawag dito, risk transfer. Yung risk
Yes.
na ikaw ay magkakasakit at ikaw ay magpapagamot sa sarili mo, tina-transfer mo sa isang institutions wherein yung risk transfer, pagka nangyari yung pinatatakutan mo, hindi na madi-disable yung family mo or ikaw mismo, you are secure. That is risk transfer. Yung risk appetite mo, kung maliit siya, mahina, feeling mo, pagka tinamaan ka nito, madi-disable yung kamag-anak mo or yung family mo or ikaw mismo, risk transfer mo, insurance.
Yes, i-transfer mo dun sa
Yeah.
insurance company.
Yes.
Parang ganun po yun. In the small amount na babayaran
Yes.
mo, like for example, ang premium mo is amounting to 2,000 per month.
Yes.
Diba? 2,000 per month ang binabayaran mo,
Yeah.
annual of what?
Let's say,
Less than 30,000, Pero kapag ka nagkaroon tayo ng sakit or nawala tayo, ang kapalit niyan ay 1 million pataas.
Wow.
Di ba? Of course,
It depends on the
depends on the
policy
policy
din.
ninyo, no?
Policy.
Kasi depende po yun sa kakayahan ninyo or sa coverage na kailangan ninyo or yung kaya ninyong kunin. Di ba? So, ganun nag-work ang life insurance. Talagang, di ba, parang talagang sobrang laking tulong sa'yo. Kasi on the small amount na kapalit nun ay big amount na malaking tulong for you and your family.
So, yung insurance, ganito, no? Parang kasi investment na yan. No?
Yes.
Sabihin ko lang sa inyo, ako may anak ako, si Ma'am Monica may anak, ano?
Ako wala.
Wala ka. Single, available, and you know.
You know it.
You know it. Ang anak po natin, no, masabi ko lang po sa inyo, hindi po sila ang retirement natin.
Yes.
Kung gusto niyo po mag-retire, ako po, magre-retire ako, I have to save for myself. No, at yung buhay ko, kung matatanda na ako, hindi ko po ibibigay sa aking mga anak. No? Yung kung maaari, ang gagawin po natin, prepared po kayo. At i-prepare niyo rin po yung mga anak niyo to go on their own.
Yes. Actually, ano naman hindi din naman natin yun na maisasisi sa lahat actually kasi ganun yung culture ng ng Filipino families kasi very relevant sa atin ng extended
Yes, yes.
family. So ngayon pa lang 'di ba kung sa generation natin may tuturo na natin sa kanila yung importance ng insurance sa anak ninyo, nakikita nila na you are preparing for your health fund, for your retirement fund, or even preparing for your pagkawala dito, di ba? Because you get an insurance. Talagang, pag sila din lumaki, alam nilang ganun yung tamang paraan sa pag-prepare in the future. Okay? So, yun po yung importance or yung kahalagahan ng pagkuha ng life insurance. Because katulad ng na-share ko na kanina, di ba? Life, sa life is may big if. So, there is an if, di ba? It's either you die too soon or you live early. You die too soon or you live too long. Okay, so, kaya importante.
Sorry, nababalik.
Yes, oo. Okay, so ano pa ba yung benefits ng pagkakaroon ng insurance aside from yung mga nabanggit ko na kanina? Well, kapag na-claim ng iyong beneficiary ang insurance, that will form part also na tulong na sa pamilya mo like a clean-up fund, di ba? Kunyari, namatay ka dahil sa sakit, di ba? Pangbayad sa ospital, even yung sa burials. Pwede nang gamitin nila yon, hindi na sila mag-iisip saan pa kukunin ang pera, di ba? Insurance also works as a disability fund, di ba? Kasi may mga option din po tayo na kapag kumuha ka ng insurance, pwede mo lagyan ng disability or rider,
yes.
di ba? Kunyari, ikaw ay na-aksidente, meron kang makiklaim because of course, ang pinaka-importante na asset is yung iyong sarili. Diba? Lahat ng binibili nating bahay, kotse, wala
all that
yan.
investment.
They depreciate.
Yes, at hindi nagmamatter lahat ng investment or asset na meron ka. Kung ikaw mismo, hindi mo na protektuhan yung sarili mo, hindi secure. Diba? Katulad ng pinagis ko nga kanina, nagkasakit ka nga, pero lahat ng income mo, savings mo ay gagamit mo naman para sa pagpapagamit mo. So yun yung isa sa mga pwede rin mag-work yung life insurance. It can also work as a retirement fund doon sa mga...
Kasi afterwards, pagka, nabayaran mo na siya for 10 years, tapos hindi ka pa, buhay ka pa. Siyempre, meron money back.
Oo, may
tapos pwede mo pang i-roll.
Well, may type of insurances din po tayo. Ang tinatawag natin yung mga traditional life insurances wherein it's either term insurance or full insurance yung kukunin natin. Diba? Sa term insurance, pwede kang kumuha ng insurance na covered ka lang from 5, 10 years. It depende po sa kung ano yung gusto ninyo talagang kunin. May mga ganong products ng insurance na babayaran mo lamang is for 5 years, standard yung premium for that. Tapos, kung gusto mo pang ipagpatuloy after 5 years, pwede rin naman. Kasi may mga clients tayo or may mga tao na maliit ang budget So, pwedeng ganun yung option, di ba? Pero at least, di ba, covered ka for that 5 years. Meron din namang mga whole insurance na kapag kinuha mo yon, you will pay only for 10 years or 15 to 20 years, but you are covered until age 100 years old.
Wow.
Diba? So,
Yung 100,
yun ang maturity.
may mga
Yes,
ganun.
opo, may ganun po talaga.
Grabe.
May ganun po traditional insurance.
One century yung coverage
Yes.
mo.
So, ganun siya nag-work. So, may mga, ang kagandahan nga din doon, di ba, kung hindi mo talagang kahit anong oras tayo, kunin ni Lord, di ba, merong nakalaan for your family. It also works for the health insurance. When, meron din po tayong products na, or policies, no, na ang health insurance covered ka until 100 years old.
Yes.
Pero meron ding babalik sa iyo. It's either return of
Money back.
premium or some part of your insurance or kunyari, so 1 million, 20% of that ay ibabalik sa iyo at on a certain age. At ikaw na bahala kung anong gusto mong gawin doon. So may mga ganung health insurances na kung hindi man natin nagamit dahil hindi tayo nagkasakit, no? Thank God, hindi tayo nagkasakit. Pero hindi naman siya kumbaga masasayang. Because merong
transferable, hindi ano.
Ang mga insurances po, no, hindi naman siya transferable. Oo, but pwedeng mangyari dyan, kunyari, may mga parent tayong nanonood, ano?
Yes.
Ako, gusto kong i-insure yung anak ko na wala pa sa legal age because sa Philippines, ang legal age natin ay 18. Diba? So, pwede ko rin namang kukuhanan ng insurance yung anak ko. Ang anak ko ang policy insured, siya ang insured, at ako ang policy owner. So, yun din po ang isa sa kagandahan ng insurance kapag kinuhanan mo yung anak mo and ikaw yung nawala. So, walang capacity yung anak mo na magbayad for that insurance. So, may mga riders, ang mga insurances natin, wherein kapag nawala yung policy owner or yung parent, magpapatuloy pa rin yung insurance na covered pa rin yung anak and as if you are still paying. So, may mga ganun tayong insurances, pwede nyo pong itanong yan sa mga financial advisors ninyo to tackle it more. Pero, yun po yung kagandahan din ng talagang insurance, pagkuha ng insurance. It works for kapag kumuha ka lang ng for income protection, yung life insurance. It also works for educational plans na kinukuha natin through insurance companies.
So, marami.
So, yun. Maraming benefits talaga, yes. And sa bagong type of insurance talaga is the VUL or the Variable Unit Link Insurance. So ito ay Variable Unit Link Insurance. So it's a type of insurance na meron kang coverage ng insurance pero meron ka ring investment card.
Yes.
So yung binabanggit,
Combine siya.
yes, combined doon sa isang policy. Ganyan. So ito yung binabanggit natin na indirect investment. Diba?
Manage
Oo. Kung kanina binabanggit ni Sir Vlad na you are doing investment through stocks, no, stock markets direct yun, ikaw ang nagmamanage, titingin ka sa yung Call Financial or kung saan man, sa PhilStocks. Yes, oo. Ikaw ang magti-trade mismo.
You're your own manager.
Yes. Kapag kumuha ka naman ng investment through insurance companies, no, yung merong fund managers na nagma-manage ng fund mo. But you also have the power or the option wherein saan mo ilalagay yung pera. Yung pera, it's either ilalagay mo ba siya sa bonds, sa equities. Again, depende sa risk appetite. Sa mga financial advisors po ninyo, tatanungin yan sa inyo, ano ba yung risk appetite? Because you need to know. You really need to know what is your risk appetite for you to decide saan mo ilalagay or saan mo i-invest yung pera mo. Okay?
Similar with stocks din.
Yes, oo. Very similar lang po. It's just that hindi ikaw yung talagang nagmamanage ng iyong funds. Okay? Tapos, actually, in AXA Philippines, we have option to, yung mga clients namin, they have the option to invest in local market or even in global market.
Yes.
Meron na din tayo.
So, that is AXA Philippines.
Yes po, AXA Philippines. That's an insurance company originated from France po. No, talagang international brand din sa AXA Philippines. But Anyway, yun
Sa stock market.
yung VUL. Yung VUL, marami din tayong yung mga millennials, actually yun ang mas preferred ng iba, lalo na yung mga single. Yun ang preferred ng iba because
Like me.
meron
Pag-insurance.
meron ng insurance at nakakapag-start ka na rin ng investment. However, if you get a VUL, you have to kailangan mong in mind,
Yes.
okay, na ang unang ginagawa ng VUL is to protect you. Okay? The first very goal of VUL is to have you or to get you an insurance.
Yeah.
Second lang yung investment. Kasi may mga ano po talaga, may mga tao na ay hindi, investment lang ang gusto ko.
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah,
investment
I know
lang.
kasi.
Yes. So,
Pero hirap na
well,
naman.
maganda naman po
Oo.
yun because talagang nakikita mo na yung importance ng investment. But you have to also realize na ikaw yung pinaka-importanting asset. Diba? So, again, sa bottom ng financial needs natin, no, very important that you secure your life insurance, your health
Agreed.
insurance before you get
Ayun,
into
sorry.
any investment.
Ah,
Okay? Kasi katulad ng binanggit natin, kapag ikaw nagkasakit, lahat yan wipe out.
that's a good advice, ano? Intervene lang ako.
Oo.
Sabi ni Sir Vlad, bago kayo mag-invest, kailangan wala muna kayong utang. Si Ma'am Monica, bago kayo mag-invest sa lahat man, ano, secure niyo muna life niyo, sarili niyo.
Yes.
So, good advice from both of them. Sige, Ma'am Monica, you can continue.
Well, the third part ng discussion ko,
Yes,
no,
yes,
very
yes,
quick
yes.
lang, how to choose the right insurance
Yes.
product for you. That's very important. Diba? Kasi
Common question
ngayon, actually marami na pong financial advisors, no, na talagang
Medyo dumami nga
nag-offer.
kayo.
Oo, because
Lalo na yung pre-pandemic in action.
maganda rin naman ang
Dumami.
maganda rin ang
Yes, yes.
ang industry ng
Yes,
sa,
yes.
sa pagiging financial advisor. Pero lahat naman ng insurance companies, 'di ba? Same goal lang naman ang gusto natin. 'Di ba? Is to insure the client, your families, protect the client, the families, 'di ba? Again, makatulong. Sinasabi yan, this is a noble job because you are di ba? Tumutulong ka
Yes,
talaga
yes.
to secure the family. So again, iisa lang 'yan, pero at ang pinakaunang kailangan yung isipin kung ano talaga yung insurance product na para sa iyo is know your goal. Diba? Ang goal mo ba is kumuha, ma-secure or ma-protect yourself, so that's life insurance. Ang goal mo ba is ma-protect yourself from pag nagkasakit ka, so that's getting a health insurance. Or ang goal mo ba is mag-invest because gusto mong bumili ng bahay, retirement fund mo, no? So that's, or yung sa educational plan ng anak mo. So that's very important. Because actually then, kasi ang mga insurances po, diba, hindi yan nag-work ng 1 to 2 years. Diba?
Okay.
Long term yan. So kapag kumuha ka ng insurance, you have to keep in mind na at the minimum 5 years talaga natin yan babayaran to 10 years
10
and
years
more.
yung
Yes. Opo. So actually ang mga VUL products, kaya mong bayaran or pwede kang magbayad ng VUL products until you're 99 years old.
Wow.
Yes, diba?
One
Kasi,
century.
the more na, because sa VUL, sinabi ko nga, may investment part yun, the more na naglalagay ka ng pera doon, nasa-save yun for you. Diba? Lahat ng pagkuha mo ng insurance, VUL man yan, lahat yan para sa'yo, hindi naman para sa iba. So, yung iba kasi ang iniisip na ko, gastos, pag kumuha ng insurance, well, that will be part of your budget, pagbabudget. Pero at the end, savings mo din yan in the future. Diba? So, again, kapag kumuha tayo ng insurance company, huwag natin isipin na short term lamang. Because, yung pag-pull out ka, kunyari, minimum mo 5 years pa lang.
So parehong long term ang dinidiscuss ni Sir
Kasi-
Vlad. If you will start and secure your future, Ma'am Monica, invest in your life, long term. Mag-investment kayo, fundamental, long term din. Pag short term.
Opo. Because may mga ibang tools naman kapag ka short term.
Yes.
Diba? May ganun din po eh. So,
Mag-trading ka na lang ng short term. Reach out to me, my friend. I will coach you
Kaya
how to
ang
trade.
hirap eh.
Yes. So, yun yung pinakauna, no? Know your goals. Kailangan mong malaman. And second is research. Of course, sa pagpili
Research.
ng insurance company
Yun.
na kung saan mo ilalagay or saan ka kukuha ng insurance, maganda na meron kang alam doon sa company, no? No. And of course, yung pagpili ng financial advisor is very
Yes,
important
yes.
also.
Kasi they do the
Diba?
analysis for you.
Yes, and yung trust, di ba? Yung trust pa lang na
Trust and
ibibigay sa'yo,
confidence.
trust and confidence is very important. So, maganda
Agree.
talaga na kapag kumukuha ng insurance, talagang seryoso, talagang one-on-one discussion with your financial advisor. Yung iba kasi, minsan, ay naku, chat na lang tayo.
Oo,
ayaw
hirap,
ay
diba?
pag-usap. Oo. Pero now naman, dahil pandemic,
Talagang
no,
kailangan.
ang pinaka...
Nag-adjust
Oo,
na.
ang pinakamaganda din nangyari is even virtual, kaya mo na kumuha ng insurance. That's the very good thing din na nangyari. I think
The
that's the innovation, one of the
field.
innovation talaga na kahit virtual, pwede kang kumuha. So, again, it's up to you to really start. Ikaw ang magde-decide
Yes,
kung
kayo.
kailan ka mag-start, di ba? So, yun, again, sa research, do your research, di ba? Get a financial advisor na alam mong mapagkakatiwalaan mo ay andyan. Kahit after you get the policy, ay kayang
Yes,
mag-assist
yes,
sa
yes,
iyo.
oo.
Yes, of course. Kasi, ano yan eh, parang sinasabi nga natin,
Friendship.
yes, pag kumuha ka ng insurance, di ba, from womb to tomb, kaya
Kaya
mag-
pinahirapan ako dyan. May kinuha ko educational plan. Nung nabayaran, nawala ni agent.
Oo.
Tapos nung nag-mature
Pero
na,
may tracker naman, may information
Ayun,
naman sila. Yun pala, no, yung one of the things pala in insurance, yung mga FAs kasi, registered din naman sila tsaka accredited.
Yes.
So yung mga, let's say si Monica is with the AXA group, all her records, yung paano niyo siya makokontak or matitrace, kung tatawag kayo, nandun naman siya sa system. So lahat naman ng mga FAs, no, so long as they are part of a certain insurance group, registered and accredited naman sila.
Yes, okay. So yun yung isa sa kailangan nating gawin para makapag-choose ka ng right insurance product. And of course, di ba, tingnan mo rin aside from researching the company, ano din yung product na ino-offer ng company. Because kung yung mga product ba yun ay swak dun sa goal mo. Di ba? Kasi yun din naman po
Sa
yung
plans.
sa plans na gusto mo. Diba? So, yun din naman yung isa sa kailangan i-consider. Hindi rin dahil, baka naman dahil kakilala. E paano kung hindi naman nag-meet yung mga plans ninyo and the offered product? So, yun din yung isa sa kagandahan ng pagre-research. Diba? So, and third, of course, budget properly. Again, kapag kumuha tayo ng insurance or yung indirect investment tayo through insurance company, kailangan naka-budget mo yan, diba? Isasama na hindi man yan expenses, pero kabawasan yan dun sa income na makukuha mo kung monthly ka man na magbabayad, quarterly, semi-annual, or annual, you have also the option. So, kailangan ma-budget ninyo because, again, kapag nag-start ka, ang commitment ng client is very important.
Yes.
Diba? Because you are committing na, okay, gagawin ko yung goal ko. Ganun siya Diba? Kapag kinausap mo ang financial advisor, hindi naman financial advisor ang talagang magtutupad ng mga pangarap mo or yung goal na napili mo. It's all up to you. Diba? Kung kumuha ka nga ng insurance, pero after 5 months, itinigil mo naman, wala din.
Useless din.
Yes. So, kailangan talaga ang mga clients, no, or kayo po, committed kayo if you get insurance na.
Yes.
Okay? Or if you start investment through insurance company. Okay? And again, yung lastly, talk to a financial advisors. Okay? So, maganda kung kakilala ninyo, maganda kung kayang maipaliwanag lahat ng mga needs ninyong malaman sa company, doon sa product, of course, and also, ma-assist kayo even after you get your insurance.
Correct.
Wow! Talaga naman, ano?
Thank you, Monica. That's a very good discussion.
Yeah.
Yun po ba yun? Yun po ba yung umpisa?
Yung clap.
Yung clap! Kaya,
Well, marami pa doon. Marami pa pwedeng mag-discuss about health insurance, renewal. Pero yun yung very basic basic
Yes.
about insurance na kailangan ninyong malaman. But again, ang pinaka-importante is ma-appreciate ninyo
Yes.
yung insurance.
Ah,
Yun talaga. Lalo na ngayon sa pandemic.
Yes. Yun po talaga yung advocacy namin, ano? Matutunan nyo kung tama, ano? Paano mamili? Sabi nga ni Ma'am Monica, no? Kailangan mo na magplano ka. Kailangan matuto ka ng fundamentals kung paano mamimili. The same thing with the investment and insurance company. At kailangan, kilala mo yung FA mo, financial advisor.
I-add ko lang.
Sige
No,
po, ma'am.
kasi baka may mga nag-iisip na kung ano bang
Yeah.
kukunin ko,
Oo.
insurance ba o
Investment.
investment? Well,
Oo.
hindi po naglalaban ang
Oo.
insurance at
Yes,
investment.
Actually, complements.
Oo, nagko-complement po siya to each other.
I think, Monica, the deciding factor there is yung goal ninyo.
Yes.
So kung if you want, kagaya ng sabi ni Monica, there are people na purely investing lang, then by all means, go ahead, do the stock investing, research, do what I did. But if your goal is also to protect your income or takot ka, let's say, nasa linya nyo ngayon may cancer or communicable diseases or whatever terminal illness na, you have to protect yourself and your family, then you go for insurance.
Yes.
If
And-
you also know, yung knowledge kasi I think ng mga FAs, ng isang buong group, isang buong insurance group, it's invaluable kasi they process the market data and they present the analysis to you. So, I think that's one.
So ito na lang yung analogy nito, parang mag-i-invest ka sa isang bagay and yung background, yung sumusuporta sa iyo, napakalaking company, no? Yung kung may 50 years in experience na ito sa group na yon, sa larangan na yun, isa na siyang institusyon. Well, go for it. No, yung backbone na sinasabi ni Sir Vlad na yung pag-aaral, yung knowledge nung FA para sumuporta sa inyo ay naroon na. Hindi ka na, although magbabasa ka pa rin at pag-aaral sa sarili mo, but the knowledge behind the institutional memory tungkol dun sa investment na papasukin nyo, ay kailangan may backer kayo dito at yun na mabibigay.
It really depends. It boils down to the kind of person you are, tsaka yung sa goals mo. If you're someone like me na talagang purely investing yung gusto sa buhay, although don't be fooled, meron ako actually si
Yes,
Monica.
may insurance is sir.
Full disclosure, I have an insurance actually. But if you want to go full stock market, mag-stock boy ka na lang, then go ahead, that's for you. But again, you have a lot of research and
Actually,
things to do.
marami din na
Yes,
yung mga nagsisimula pa lamang, kapag yun, nabanggit natin kanina, na kapag nagsisimula ka pa lang and you really don't have time to talagang aralin yung stock market, they can do the indirect
Yeah.
investing.
Start
But
off sa
again,
insurance.
diba, the very most important asset is yourself. Si Sir Vlad, bago man yan magkaroon ng investment, I'm sure meron na siyang insurance prior to that, diba? So, that's yung in terms of importance ng insurance, ganun siya. Magkaiba kasi talaga sila ng ginagawa sa buhay ninyo. So, huwag niyo pong iisipin na, kapag may investment na ako, hindi na ako kukuha ng insurance.
Or the other way
Magkahit
around.
yes, or the other way around.
So,
Magkaiba po sila na
yes.
objective. At
Complementary
kapag,
din siya, guys. Kasi kung kumita ka sa stock market, hindi lagay mo sa insurance. It's part of
oo.
the
And also kapag,
nakuha mo yung policy mo din.
yes, at kapag naman sa insurance, kapag ka po may claim ka sa insurance, wala po yung tax.
Yes,
So,
so,
sa zero tax.
Ay,
so,
Ay, oo, okay.
sir, kailangan pinag-usapan natin.
In the stock market din po kasi, although ang PSE kasi meron na siyang withholding tax, no? But there are no other additional taxes dyan sa stock exchange. Kasi our legislators, mga congressmen and congressmen and senator, they also have stock exchange accounts and they don't want to impose new taxes kasi or additional burden dyan. Kasi nga, in the Philippine Stock Exchange kasi, that's the Philippine economy. Kumbaga yung index na tinatawag, the top 30 largest companies, you don't want to tax it kasi nga matatakot yung mga investors, foreign and local, if you add additional tax. So in the stock market, it's aranin nyo, they have, in the COL Financial, I believe they have one fact sheet about that. Magkano yung charge sa inyo and sobrang minimal niya, sobrang liit. And yung contribution niya, makikita nyo rin that they use that fee to facilitate other trades and expanding the Philippine stock market.
Pero sir, ang liit pa rin ng yung porsyento ng insured, saka na nag-invest.
Oh, yeah.
Oo.
Yeah.
So, diba, sa insurance, how many over. For example, in the Philippines.
Well, malaki na rin naman, no?
Malaki
Yung
na.
sa Philippines, 100,000 na din.
Pero yung dun sa population ng Pilipinas, may
Maliit pa rin naman.
Yeah, in the stock market, I believe kasi noong 2017, I attended the seminar. Parang, although dati kasi less than 1% lang of the Philippine population ang nag-engage sa stock market talaga. Ngayon, around na-break na niya yung 1%, but still, di ba, it's way out there.
1%.
1% or more than a 1% ang nag-invest. So, 1.2, 1.3.
So may mga stigma pa rin talaga
Yes.
about insurance, even sa insurance lalo. Kaya wag niyo po kayo matakot na kapag
Yeah,
kumuha ng
there.
insurance, ako baka mamatay ako
Yeah.
agad. Hindi
First
po
start.
ganun. Alam niyo po yung
Investing.
mga pinakamayayaman sa Pilipinas,
Yes, yes.
ang daming insurance
Mhm.
policies niyan. So hindi po, wag po tayo matakot doon because it's just a policy. Papel lang yun.
Yes.
Pero ang laki ng tulong nun because you plan ahead for your future.
And same goes for the stock market. Diba? The stigma in the stock market is pang mayayaman lang yan, mabilis mawala yung pera mo dyan. Well, yung first part no, it's not for mayayaman only. In the past siguro. Pero with the onset ng technology, kaya online na lang lahat ngayon ng trades, diba? You don't need a physical broker na makikipag-follow sa floor. So,
Oh yes, the
yeah.
floor. Ito yung sa Philippines.
Yeah, dito sa Makati. So nowadays, you can execute your trade online as what we have been doing na. And in the stock market, yung stigma na you will lose money, well, definitely you will lose money, especially if you do not do your research.
Well, doon sa lose money. Sir Vlad,
Yeah.
ano yung pinakamalaking nawala?
Yeah, let's discuss that in another video.
Sige.
Pero yeah, I did, I have experienced a huge loss then in the market. Currently ngayon, medyo nag-negative ako kahapon, nakita nyo naman yung
game.
no, that's the negative. Kahapon kasi was a pullback or a market correction. So, yeah, malaki yung loss ko ng 300,000 na higit yun. But that's just one trade. That's just one account.
Well, I think Ma'am Ballester and Sir Vlad, clap muna ako ha. Nakalimutan ko kanina. Cheer. Session na. Isang
I think we can go
to the sa questions. Sandali. Anin muna natin. Tingnan ko lang po, sir ha. Yung aking, baka may magtanong na umpisang ko lang sa taas. Sandali lang pa. Para isa-isahin natin yung mga tanong.
Shout out pala doon sa mga viewers natin.
Yes,
If you didn't manage to
watch
this live, we are going to post it naman po sa YouTube.
Automatic na
you
siya.
can watch
Mamaya,
You can watch it naman agad.
ito, post ko lang, Sir Vlad.
Sure. What is the first question? And
Ang
from
tanong is from Adam Stephen
Okay.
Baldota, no? Any recommendation kung anong company maganda mag-invest at the current situation po natin? So, ayan.
So that's a good question. So, as I have mentioned kanina, the stock market, yung Philippine economy kasi natin, it really took a beating during the pandemic. Okay? So, maraming businesses na nag-close. A lot of companies in the Philippine Stock Exchange were affected, especially yung consumer and properties na sector natin. But they are actually recovering. And the signs are in my own technical analysis of the index, it's actually, I wouldn't say na super bullish na siya or pataas, but the signs are there. Kumbaga nagsa-start na siyang mag-consolidate. Hindi na siya masyadong tumataas, hindi siya masyadong bumababa, and nagko-consolidate siya. That means a lot of brokers and traders, ito yung mini-mention ko, are trying to get ahead of the market. So ngayon pa lang, bumibili na sila ng shares, no, kahit pandemic, bumibili na sila ng huge number of shares. Hindi na nila inaantay ma-fully vaccinate, hindi na nila inaantay fully mag-open up yung economy. Kasi by the time mag-antay ka na ma-fully open up, fully vaccinate na tayo, then the economy have already recovered. And bibili ka ng presyo at a premium level na, masyado nang mataas. So for the stock market, at least for the June, for the month of June, for the end of this previous semester, there are signs na nag-start na siyang magkaroon ng partial recovery. I'm not saying full recovery guys kasi it will still take a long time. And you have to know that in investing in the stock market, in the current climate natin, this cannot be resolved purely by business or financial intervention from the government. No. Itong pandemic na to, itong current economic situation natin can only be resolved by medical means. So what does that mean? Vaccination. If fully vaccinate na at least 80% of the population, that's the herd immunity, the critical mass na tinatawag. And then, opening up the restrictions. So, pagbabalik ng 100% occupancy sa mga dining, easing ng restrictions sa travel, no, moving people,
travel.
sa transportation. So, yeah, the tourism sector, for example, very, very badly hit sila ng pandemic. The airline industry
Yes.
I can wholeheartedly say do not invest muna
Oo.
in the airline industry because they are hemorrhaging money. Dumudugo ng pera yung mga yan right now because air travel nga was one of the first industry that was hit by the pandemic kasi inter-country travel was shut down. Cebu Pacific, the SEB group, not so good yung kanilang chart, no? PAL, I believe, tatanggalin na sila sa Philippine Stock Exchange. I-delist na sila, I don't know, because yung sa utang ata ng mga TAN, no? Kay TAN. So, there are a lot of reasons, ano? And yung second questions naman niya, what was that?
Sa Manila.
What was that? Saan maganda
Saan maganda yung Gindes?
Again, I am not pushing or recommending for specific companies, guys, ano. What I really suggest is kung ano yung company na ginagamit ninyo, company na familiar kayo, alam niyo kung ano yan, kung Pilipino-based sila, sino nagpapatakbo, just apply yung anim na sinabi ko kanina, the 6 criteria and the other things you have to keep in mind. Yun lang. But for recommendations, okay, sige, yun nga, yung sa mga magre-recover or poised to recover. You have the consumer group, the Jollibee, for
Yes.
example, in the telco sector, Globe is the big
Globe and Smart.
yeah, the king of the hill. Actually, Globe lang because
Globe
they've
lang.
overtaken Smart lang of means of market share. So that's good. MBT, the Metro Bank Group, no? In the banking sector kasi guys, you also have to know, in the recovery phase, sino ang magpa-fund ng recovery? No?
So it's the back.
It's the banks. Tama si Monica. It's
It's
the
the
banks.
backbone.
Yes, kasi kung itong mga businesses na
Oo.
the big businesses,
Maglo-loan yan.
yeah, maglo-loan sila. They have to take out a loan, they have to take out a policy, whatever you want to call it. Kailangan nila ng funds, and the funds is with the banks.
Yes.
So the banks will be a driver of growth, and sila nga yung tinitingnan ngayon ng Bangko Sentral as we do not raise interest to maintain na mababa yung interest natin para umutang ulit yung business, magkaroon ulit ng credit confidence na tinatawag. But that's actually a bad for us na meron ng mga time deposit kasi hindi na lalaki. Kumbaga fixed lang siya because it's a Bangko Sentral policy. So yun siya, yung that type of analysis, that type of approach, you can do. Titingnan nyo kung ano yung mga companies na magre-recover or saan magagaling yung recovery. Poised to recover.
Thank you very much. Ano? Meron pa tayong Sir
sure,
Vlad,
go
tanong. I hope na nanonood pa siya, no? Pero you can watch this replay. Ang susunod pong tanong ito po. Ang tanong po si Mr. Alex Lison. No? What are the risks of investment po?
Okay, risk in investing in the stock market, you mean. So, one of the risks in investing in the stock market is you lose money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Period. Kasi, especially if you don't do your research, no. Another risk dyan is, and this is parang part na siya ng design ng market, is one of the risks dyan is yung mag-emotional buying ka or emotional selling ka. As I've mentioned, stock market kasi is also ruled not just by numbers but also by emotion. So, kung ikaw or maraming tao nakiki-hype ka lang, kumbaga, uy, maganda yan si Dito company, bili tayo niyan, naku, bumili ka, kaso pababa na siya, nakabili ka at, let's say 17, ang pinaka-highest kasi na naabot niya, 17 pesos, that was April ata yun or May. And then ngayon, nasa 9 pesos na lang siya. Imaginein mo kung nakabili ka
9
17 pesos kasi na-hype ka,
8 pesos.
narinig mo na katabi mo sa bus or sa jeep, or nanood ka ng isang vlog na about dito, i-push natin yan, and you did not do your research, then kawawa ka. That's one of the risks, nagpa-join ka sa hype without doing your actual research.
Parang bandwagon na
Yeah, bandwagon. Kung hindi mo tinitingnan yung technicals, yung chart niya, bumili ka at 17 pesos, may gandas ngayon, 9 pesos na lang siya, that's what, almost 10 pesos na lang.
Yes.
So, yun, those are some of the risks po in investing.
Well, Sir Alex po din po, no?
Yeah,
Tanong
sure.
naman niya is, ano po ang mga maipapayo nyo, sa mga taong papasok
Okay.
sa investment?
Sa akin, two things, always. Start small. Kayo.
Small.
Use the peso
Okay.
cost averaging strategy. You can research more on that. Or you could just watch our next vlog on that.
Yes.
And then, you do your research. Huwag po kayo matakot. Mag-research kayo. Type nyo lang at the Philippine Stock Exchange website. Meron sila mga disclosures, information, and resource center. It's all there. And hanapin nyo lang yung company na gusto ninyo. Let's say MBT, Metro Bank. You do your research. Sino ba nagpapatakbo sa Metro Bank? Ano ba yung history nila? Why are they better than the other banks? No? For example, sino yung mga sister companies nila, like Allianz, like for example yung AXA. So you do the fundamental and kahit fundamental analysis lang muna, the technical analysis, you can consult naman yung ating mga brokers for that. COL, Philstocks, they provide that information.
And idagdag ko lang kay
Yes,
Sir
yeah.
Alex, baka hindi niya na panood kanina, no? Again, yung risk appetite mo, you have to identify that. Yun yung pinaka unang kailangan mong malaman bago ka pumasok sa investment. Okay? Yun po yun. And kung ano yung saan mo i-invest yung pera mo, no? If you do it direct investing or indirect investing, you can
Direct investing is through stock, indirect is through insurance.
yes.
Or
Yung
mutual
mga
funds.
yung VUL products, mutual
May
funds.
mutual funds po ba ang AXA?
No, mutual funds is it's run by mutual funding
mutual
houses.
funds.
Iba pa yan.
Yes.
We can
Iba
have
pa.
we can table another discussion.
Okay.
It's another investment instrument.
Another question po, within Dale po, ang tanong para kay Ma'am Monica. Ito po kay Ma'am Julie May. Dumantay. Ano po ang pinaka-recommended nyo na type ng insurance? Type of insurance.
Well, again, ang kung ako po, no, ano yung recommended type of insurance na dapat ninyong kunin, no, lalo na kung wala pa kayong insurance. At ngayon pa lang kayo kukuha. Yes, you get a life insurance or health insurance. Because there are health insurances na yung talagang health insurance lang po hindi, pwede ka kasing kumuha ng health insurance na hindi naka-rider. Hindi naka-rider sa mga VUL products. Okay? So, you secure that. You secure that. You get life or health insurance because you have to secure yourself first before starting an investment. Kasi katulad nga na binanggit ko, isa sa type of insurance is the VUL. Okay? So, kung kaya ninyong kumuha nung term insurance na, yung traditional insurance na walang investment, that's good. Or, depende yun sa budget niyo kung ang budget po ninyo ay nakalaan lamang, kunyari very minimal lang siya ngayon, no? Pero gusto niyo na rin mag-start ng investment, pwede rin po kayong kunin nyo na yung VUL or yung variable unit link insurances. Okay, so again, depende po yun sa goal ninyo. Pero kung ako pong tatanungin ninyo, I would still suggest that kung VUL man ang kunin ninyo, you have to secure na yung life insurance or yung life insurance ninyo ay enough for your family and meron kang health insurance rider. Because yung health insurance, hindi po talaga natin alam kung kailan tayo magkakasakit or magkakasakit tayo. Even the healthiest guy na alam nila sila, nag-exercise, nagbabike, no?
Marinig mo na lang bukas.
Hindi natin po alam yan So,
yung mga mahilig mag-gym, nagyayabang sa Instagram,
so,
wala, sakit kayo.
Wala po talaga, walang uncertainties po yun ang buhay. So, that's a thing na kailangan natin. Hindi po, wala pong galit si Vlad sa nag-gym. Okay, pero yun po, no, Miss Johnny May, yun, kung wala pa tayong insurance, kung wala pa tayong insurance, get a life or health. Kung may life insurance ka na at walang health insurance na kasama yun, you get a health insurance.
Yes, alright. Thank you very much. Ang susunod po natin para kay Sir Vlad, madali lang, para masaya naman. Kasi hindi ko nagagamit na nakakalimutan lang. Yes, that's good.
Sound effects ni Kuya Joe.
Nahuli ko, pasensya na. This is my first time to stream live stream. Ang susunod po na tanong ay kay Cristel Concepcion. Paano po malalaman kung ito ay lihitimo sa investment ito para malaman ang bogus? Paano malalaman?
So guys, in the Philippine stock market, if you go to the Philippine Stock Exchange website, they have the list of companies na doon, yung index natin. Well, not just the index, but all companies publicly listed in the Philippine Stock Exchange. Again, regulated yun ng SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. If there is a group, let's say, in-offeran ka na, bigay mo sa akin 100,000, tapos gagawin ko 300,000 in 2 months. First thing you should do is check with this person or with this entity, are you SEC registered? Okay? Second, kung SEC registered ka, are you allowed to trade stocks in the Philippine stock market? Kasi you have to be publicly listed. So, yun lang po, check with your Securities and Exchange Commission. Kung hindi siya registered doon, then hindi siya corporation. Okay? Hindi siya nararapat or wala siyang legitimacy na kumuha ng pera mo at mag-trade on your behalf. So, just stick with the companies listed in the Philippine stock market. Nandun na po yan. And kung meron kang doubt dun sa company na yan, then go to the SEC registration panel. Nakikita mo sino mga corporations ang registered on.
Well, thank you very much. It's been 2 hours. It's been 2 hours. Mahabang talakayan ang nangyari talaga. Pero po, magkakaroon ng mga sequence pa, mga susunod pa namin na pag-uusap. Hopefully. Well, any last words, pero yun na po. Final thoughts, Ma'am Monica and Sir Vlad.
Well, final thoughts about, again, sana may natutunan tayong lahat about investment and insurance, and you appreciate the insurances, lalo na kapag may insurance ka na ngayon.
Yes.
Maganda rin yung you spread also the knowledge about getting an insurance. Yung sa family mo, kaibigan mo, kung kaya po natin silang i-share yung knowledge, because it's part of also pagiging financial literate, because you are securing your future using your yung kung ano yung nakukuha mo ngayon. Okay, so again, kung kayo po ay meron na or kayo ay nagbabalak man kumuha ng insurance, maganda pa rin na aside from you getting an insurance, you share it also to your family and friends. Okay? Yun po. Thank you, sir.
Sandali lang, para masaya naman.
Yes, thank you so much.
Para happiness. Okay, Sir Vlad, final thoughts?
Final thoughts naman ako on stock investing. I think yung sinabi ko na kanina, rule number 1, do not touch what you do not know. Do your research. Same goes po yan for stock investing, for insurance, for any investment instrument that includes money market, mutual fund, bonds, So you do your research po muna. And I think siguro, again, in the recovery phase kasi, there are signs that our market is improving. There are companies that are poised or readying their resources for the opening ng economy natin. Sa akin kasi, I always believe in long-term investing, and you try to unahan mo na yung market before pag dumating yung market. So, wag mo nang antayin na ma-fully vaccinate at pag-fully open up yung economy before you start investing. Bumili ka na right now or you start investing na in good companies while it's still depressed, while it's still down. Kasi the moment na mag-open yung company, then sasakyan mo na lang yung
Huwag mo tayong matakot,
Yes.
because at the end of the day, this pandemic, natin to,
matatapos din
ma-overcome
siya.
natin
Yes,
ito.
agree.
And makikita ninyo yung importance na nagsimula ka ng investment ngayon pala. Sinasabi nga is samantalahin mo yung pagkakataon
Yes,
ngayon.
while it's still
Yes.
low, relatively low.
Think positive, di ba? Na kapag nag-start ka ngayon, in the long run, after 10 years, kikita ka sa investment.
Well, maganda yung mga napag-usapan ngayon. Nasabi na ni Ma'am Monica, nasabi na ni Sir Vlad. Ngayon po talaga, economy ay bagsak. At talaga naman po down to drain tayo. Pero
There are signs.
may mga signs na nabubulusok ang ekonomiya. At pagka bumulusok po ang ekonomiya, nakahanda na po ba kayo? Katulad po ng sinabi ni Sir Vlad, halos anong investment house ito, sir? Yung nabili na lahat, hindi ka na makabili. Yung sa
Sa Mary Mart, you mean?
Oh yes, so isipin niyo po doon sa Marami, maraming gustong bumili, wala nagbebenta kasi very optimistic po sila na pagkatapos po ng ulan, may rainbow at sisikap din naman. So, ito pong inaumpisahan namin, ang tawag po namin dito, paradigm shift. Ito'y panibagong kaalaman at panibagong pananaw po na binibigay namin sa inyo, kung saan maaari kayo magkaroon ng ang ginagawa po namin for you to be financially prepared, financial freedom po on your retirement po. Remember po, ang anak po natin, hindi po natin sila investment or retirement. Tulad na sinabi niyo, Ika, you need to prepare for your health, for your retirement. At ganoon din po kay Sir Vlad, you really need to prepare for your retirement. Well, ito po si kayo mang vlog. Nagsasabi po, Pilipino, kahit saan man panig ng mundo, may negosyong nakalaan at babagay sa'yo. Pilipino ka, madiskarte ka. Ito po si kayo Mang Vlog. Hanggang sa muli po, paalam. Meron pa po kami
Bye,
susunod.
guys.
Bye-bye po. Maraming salamat.
Bye.
God bless and be careful, stay healthy.
Yes.
Bakuna para maulik na ekonomiya.
Yes.
Thank you very much po sa kanila. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Ay, syempre, bye-bye, guys. Syempre.
Ang sound.
Okay. Sinubukan ko lang po ang aking sound effects.
And broadcast.
Broadcast. Thank you po. Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Salamat.
Recorded naman siya, kaya matagal lang yan. 2 hours kasi.
Alam mo,
Pero
pick
recorded
natin
na.
ng number of viewers.
Ah.
Pagod ba tayo at